I was video chatting with my good buddy. He slowly stepped out from behind me. She lightly reeked of red. Dear, where did I put mine? The brother on the other end of the video was instantly petrified. The whole family was so terrified they were staring at their pockets. You have to know, this sister is the whole Toto. Shiraishi Mo, the eldest daughter of the Shiraishi family, whom no one dared to provoke lightly. She has a severe obsession with cleanliness, cold as ice. There were even rumors outside that she had no interest in the family. This untouchable flower that no one dares to approach. He quietly remembered his brother's close friend for a full 8 years. Her exclusive luxury car's license plate number is my birthday. The sign of the Shiraishi Gurupu Biru even had my initials hidden inside. Unfortunately, 8 years ago I quietly went abroad and completely lost all contact. Her long-hidden confession ultimately couldn't be spoken. I finally returned to my country, but just as Shiraishi Kibu rushed up to me holding flowers, the dark memories of my 16th year suddenly flooded my mind. Back then, a car accident took my parents, and at 16, I was instantly devastated. I was depressed for half a year. Neither medicine nor medical help helped, and I was so thin I looked unattractive. Just when everyone was at a loss, Natsume Asahi made a shocking decision. He resolutely sent me abroad alone, and this journey lasted a full 8 years. When I first arrived abroad, I locked myself completely in my room. Until that day, I saw an elderly man staggering, rummaging through trash bins in the rain, looking for food. Tears instantly poured down like rain, crouching on the ground and crying, releasing all my emotions at once. It was precisely this crying and the ensuing high fever that led me to rise from the ashes. In an instant, I understood. Since my parents are gone and it's done, I want to live even better. I started working out and got back to my studies. Relying on the warmth of her uncle's family, he managed to get through the darkest years, finishing both his undergraduate and master's degrees. I have returned from my studies, no longer the fragile boy I once was. But I never expected that the first person to pick me up would be Shiraishi Kibu, with whom I had almost no interaction in high school. Welcome back. Shiraishi Kibu stuffed the flowers into my arms, his hand naturally resting on my shoulder. Looking at his sincere smile, my eyes instantly welled up. I thought that line of coming to pick you up was just a joke on social media, but unexpectedly, Shiraishi Kibu actually came. However, I felt uneasy in my heart, as it seemed I hadn't reached that point yet. But Shiraishi Kibu saw right through it and directly asked, "Don't you recognize us as good brothers?" I joked with a smile, "With a good-looking, thoughtful brother like you." But suddenly I felt sad again. The well-protected innocence in Shiraishi Kibu was something I once possessed. After my parents passed away 8 years ago, I never dared to cause my uncle and aunt any trouble anymore. My life is left with only caution. Just as I was thinking this, Shiraishi Kibu and I had already arrived at the parking lot when I saw his car. The latest Panamera has an incredibly cool body. But what really shocked me was that license plate. 5-1. This is no longer the real haul, this is no one at all. I hadn't recovered from my shock yet when Shiraishi Kibu had already put on sunglasses and started the car. The two of us headed straight to a restaurant. As soon as the car reached the doorman immediately stepped forward, took the keys, and went to park the car, his movements extremely skillful. Only then did Shiraishi Kibu lower his head and explain, "This car belongs to my sister." Driving it on the road, other cars avoid me. Safe? I couldn't help but laugh and cry. I was about to say I'd just take a taxi next time, but Shiraishi Kibu tossed his hair. He looked completely assertive. "Next time, I'll have the driver at home drive me." One sentence once again made me realize that we are people from two different worlds. The friend Shiraishi Kibu mentioned, who runs a restaurant, it turned out to be the person I least wanted to see. We walked into the private room, and Shiraishi Kibu came over cheerfully. "Take out your phone. Let's take a group photo." With a click, the scene freezes. Shiraishi gazes at the photo, satisfied, talking to myself. The original image is all the most eye-catching in my social circle. He quickly edited the copy, welcoming his brother back to China. Later, when someone joined me for skewers and drinks, he casually clicked send At this moment, suddenly the phone vibrated, a speeding ticket. Her brows furrowed instantly. It was that brother with poor driving skills who had stolen her car again. She helplessly opened it, intending to find a reminder from her brother, but at that moment, she saw her brother's update on WeChat Moments, a figure so familiar it felt like bones suddenly collided with her line of sight. Her fingers gripping the phone tightened instantly, trembling as she opened the group photo. When the face she longed for was magnified infinitely, Shiraishi Mo's eyes were filled only with shock. The next second I forced myself to get excited. But the meeting wasn't over yet, and she couldn't leave. Shiraishi Mo couldn't listen to a single word of the following meeting. Kojo Joshu noticed the boss's unusual behavior and immediately pressed down on the voice recorder. 2 hours later, countless bosses rushed over to strike up a conversation, but Shiraishi Mo ignored them all. Right now, she just wanted to return to Toto immediately to verify one thing. Immediately step forward to block the way. Sorry everyone, Shiraishi Song rushed over, overnight. The crowd, sensing the situation, dispersed. Shiraishi Mo walked out coldly while urging to buy the nearest plane ticket. While waiting to board, she opened that moment's post again. Save the photo, then forward it to Kojo Joshu, delete one and send it back to me. His tone showed no trace of his brother's guilt. Kojo Joshu instantly understood. The boss was going crazy for the sake of it. The future male lead was finally in shape. Shiraishi Moe then dialed Shiraishi Kibu's number. Shiraishi Kibu had just finished dinner with me when he saw the caller ID. He mouthed silently to me and explained to my sister. Shiraishi Mo's cold voice came through. Where is it? That pressure, even over the phone. It could also make Shiraishi Kibu tremble with fear. I'm having dinner with my brother. Shiraishi Kibu is overwhelmed with survival skills, but Shiraishi Mo hit the nail on the head. You're driving my car. Shiraishi Kibu instantly felt guilty. Sis, I was wrong. But Shiraishi Mo didn't care about that at all. She threw out a bombshell. I'm at the airport. After saying that, he hung up the phone directly, leaving Shiraishi Kibu completely bewildered. Shiraishi Kibu suddenly turned around. Natsume Akahoshi, my sister is back. I need to hurry back and put out the fire. I smiled gently. It's okay, you have things to do. Go ahead and get busy. Shiraishi Kibu hugged me apologetically. Natsume Akahoshi, I'll join you in a couple of days to check in at all the delicious food. Actually, I really like Shiraishi Kibu. He's pure and charming. After we parted ways, I immediately hailed a car and headed straight for the service hall. The first thing is to get a SIM card. Then he sent the new code to Shiraishi Kibu and a few friends. In front of a detached villa, my uncle Natsume Asahi's family was already anxiously waiting. Half an hour later, as soon as the car I was in stopped, the three of us immediately came over to greet us. Finally back! Jin Yume grabbed my hand, her heart aching unbearably. When I was 16 or 17, both my parents passed away. I am the only nephew. He became the heart of the couple's heart. Natsume Asahi's eyes also welled up. Good child. My cousin Natsume Ban even took my luggage and patted me the shoulder. Once you're back, don't leave. The warmth of family instantly enveloped me. I thought my tears had long since dried up, but now I was starting to feel uncontrollable. At that moment, Natsume Ban reacted extremely quickly. All right. Let my little brother go in and rest. Don't just stand outside all the time. Jin Yume tightly clapped my hand. Auntie made you your favorite dish. Just worried your taste would change abroad. I immediately shook my head, my eyes curved with a smile, and said, I eat everything Auntie makes. A group of people walked into the villa. Auntie had already redecorated my room. I was just about to carry my luggage upstairs myself. But behind me, Natsume Ban grabbed me and snatched the heavy box. I'll do it. Natsume Asahi and Jin Yume immediately shot him a look that showed he was sensible. I didn't hold back either. I smiled brightly. When she reached the door of the second-floor room, Natsume Ban thoughtfully stopped and left the space for me. The younger brother looked to see what was still missing. I took the luggage, Natsume Ban closed the door for me, and turned to go downstairs. However, on the other side, Shiraishi Kibu's life was far from easy. He had just arrived home but lingered at the door for a long time. He quietly grabbed the butler, his voice as soft as a mosquito. Kawaje ai. Kawaje. I smiled kindly. Miss has been back for quite a while and is waiting for you in the living room. This sentence instantly froze Shiraishi Kibu in place. His sister is waiting for him. Isn't this just a hongmen banquet? But he never expected all his little moves. Shiraishi Mo in the living room was watching everything clearly through the surveillance camera. She raised an eyebrow and sent a message saying it didn't come in. The moment your phone vibrates, you completely give up resisting. He made up his mind, had a rebirth early, and tomorrow he would be a hero again. So he put away his phone, strode into the living room, and immediately went to pour a cup of tea. She immediately brought Shiraishi Mo a cup of tea, her tone full of charm. Shiraishi Mo sneered inwardly, but outwardly looked serious. She took the teacup and took a sip. Shiraishi Kibu immediately breathed a sigh of relief, thinking he had easily brushed it off this time. But he never expected that Shiraishi Mo would put down her teacup and let out a cold snort, instantly throwing him into panic. Frightened, Shiraishi Kibao immediately leaned over, massaging her shoulders while grabbing her hard. "You really are a family-oriented woman. My future brother-in-law is truly lucky." However, Shiraishi Mo wasn't buying it at all, just said it lightly. Shiraishi Kibao quickly tapped his insurance card and obediently handed over his car keys, vowing never to dare again. He was just about to find an excuse to slip away. But Shiraishi Mo spoke again, her gaze icy cold. Shiraishi Kibu's mind went blank, but his body honestly took out his phone. He held it in both hands and handed it over. Shiraishi Mo took the phone and, surprisingly, opened it right in front of him. She was searching through the call log. Her hand paused on a note and opened the chat box. The latest news above was actually a string of phone numbers. Exit the chat window and return the phone to Shiraishi Kibu. Shiraishi Kibu was completely confused, but didn't dare to ask a single word. Just as he was trembling, his sister suddenly asked, "Is the pocket money enough? I'll transfer you a bit later. Didn't your brother return to China? Let's go play together." Shiraishi Kibu was completely fed up and still wanted to transfer it to him. She was so brainless during the meeting that she was completely overwhelmed. Shiraishi Mo couldn't be bothered with the turmoil in his heart. She took out her phone, saved the number from earlier, and pinned it to the top. In the end, she didn't join in, only got up to tell Shiraishi Kibu that she had a trap tonight. After saying that, she went upstairs to shower and change clothes. At this moment, in the private room on the second floor of the Nishino Yashiki, Sophia Yasui Shizuka had been waiting for more than half an hour. In the private room, Sophia was smoking a lady's cigarette. I said, "Shiraishi Mo's team, why are we here and she hasn't arrived yet?" Yasui Shizuka remained calm, only saying she might be delayed by something important. The private room door was pushed open, and Shiraishi Mo walked in and spoke. "A bit of something delayed me for a while, but just as Yasui Shizuka poured her a drink, she raised her hand to refuse. She drove out today." Sophie exploded on the spot. "You invited us out, but you refused to drink it yourself." Shiraishi Mo, however, only poured 7 cups of plain water, casting a cold glance at her. "You can also choose not to drink it, drink plain water, and quietly laugh out loud." But then she noticed Shiraishi Mo took out her phone again and started gazing at the PIN number in her contacts. She immediately sensed something was wrong, exchanged a glance with Sophie, and tentatively spoke up. "What's wrong with you today?" "The company is in trouble." Shiraishi Mo put away her phone and simply uttered 4 words, "A bit of personal matter." Yasui Shizuka immediately relaxed and joked, "Isn't it that your Miss Shiraishi can't win her over after a man?" She swore it was purely a joke. After all, the men chasing Shiraishi Mo in Toto could line up from the east to the west. Unexpectedly, Shiraishi Mo gave her a cold, indifferent glance, and Yasui Shizuka instantly felt a chill down her spine. Looking at Shiraishi Mo's face again, she was completely stunned. I was absolutely right. Even Miss Shiraishi has people she can't win over. Shiraishi Mo didn't respond, just picked up her cup and took another sip, though her heart was filled with bitterness. Chasing someone, I'm afraid that person doesn't even remember who she is now. The next second, she suddenly stood up and grabbed her coat. Before he finished speaking, he had already walked out of the private room without looking back. Only Sophie and Yasui Shizuka were left standing there, questioning their lives. Shiraishimo walked out of the Nishi no Yashiki. She glanced out the window by chance, and her pupils suddenly contracted. Outside the car window, there was a familiar figure. She paused, then immediately took out her phone and dialed her brother's number. And at that moment, I had just hung up the phone. I had just finished showering when Shiraishi Kibu called, "Natsume Akahoshi, come out and keep me company." I didn't want to go out, but when I heard it was my newly promoted brother, I gladly agreed. I casually applied some skincare products, changed clothes, and went downstairs, but Natsume Asahi grabbed me. Friends, men and women. A series of questions came crashing at me. I smiled and explained, "Uncle, he's my high school classmate." Only then did Natsume Asahi breathe a sigh of relief. "Hey, I'll come back early." I took a taxi to Nishi no Yashiki. The reason I booked Shiraishi Kibu was here because everyone here knows it. It's absolutely safe. Just as I was about to arrive, he was about to go out to pick me up, but unexpectedly his sister called again. "Turn and hide in the restroom, sister." On the other end of the line, Shiraishimo was staring at the figure who had just gotten out of the taxi. Where is the icy, bone-chilling voice? Having dinner with friends who returned to China today, Shiraishi Kibu didn't dare lie at all. Shiraishimo had already gotten off 7 carts and strode toward the private room at the West Mansion gate. Shiraishi Kibu confessed honestly. The next second, the call was abruptly hung up. Forcing a smile and walking out of the bathroom. She saw me. He immediately smiled and waved his hand. Seeing him, my eyes lit up. "Sorry." Shiraishi Kibu quickly shook hands. As he spoke, he affectionately grabbed my hand and led me inside. Unaware that a storm was about to break out, my brother Shiraishi Kibu and I were chatting in the private room. He was so excited he was almost glued to me. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. We both thought it was a waiter, and without thinking, we called out 7 times, "Come in." But when the door was pushed open, it wasn't a waiter who came in. It was a complete silence. Curious, I suddenly turned around. There was actually a woman standing at the door, her features unbelievable. She wore a women's blazer over her arm, exuding a cold, unapproachable aura. She just quietly watched the two of us, making my heart crawl. I quickly tugged at Meshi's sleeve, and he impatiently asked what was wrong. However, just as he was halfway through his sentence, he turned around. His whole body suddenly stood up, his voice changing to a 7-tone level. My mind buzzed. "Sis!" The woman just gave a faint glare at the nervous Meshi. "So why are you doing something so big? You have to be steady outside?" Meshi actually wanted to kick her out, telling her to go home if she had nothing else to do. But to my surprise, the woman ignored him at all and instead fixed her gaze on me. He spoke slowly. "Your friend, won't you introduce me?" I didn't expect this fire to reach me, so I had no choice but to grit my teeth and take a step forward. "Reach out your hand. I am Natsume Akahoshi." She glanced down at my hand, then reached out and gently squeezed it, her voice cold and clear. Just one touch, and that powerful aura made me almost breathless. Meshi glanced at his sister and even took the initiative to greet others today. He then turned to look at his brother. Fair skin, beautiful appearance, long, red teeth, white teeth, small upturned nose. Her eyelashes drooped. At this moment, his palms were a bit sweaty. I don't know why, but I feel a bit uneasy about this person. Meshi didn't notice his brother's mood. At this moment, he was just thinking about telling his sister to leave quickly. Shirashimo glanced at me coldly. At this moment, I lowered my head slightly, and she could only see me pressing my lips tightly. Her gaze shifted slightly, brushing past my waist, her gaze tightening for a moment. So thin, she frowned slightly, but quickly returned to normal. She tossed out a sentence to Meshi, then turned and walked out. Meshi hopes to stay lazy. Is his sister really this free today? I noticed the way Shirashimo looked at me before leaving, intentionally or not. I protected my eyebrows, but hopefully it's just my imagination. Shiraishi Kibu pulled me to sit on a stool. "My sister is like that," she asked again. "She's still with Yasui Shizuka and the others. Let's eat slowly." Shiraishi Kibo pulled me back down and ate a bit. After Shirashimo walked out of the private room, she didn't move. Inside, holding a lighter but not lit, just as Shirashimo stepped out, the dishes were served. Meshi hopes to pick me 7 o'clock for food. Try the specialty dishes here. A bit absent-minded, I casually ate a few bites of food and then put down my chopsticks. Not to your taste. Meshi looked at me, but didn't take a second bite of the food. I shook my head. No. Eat a little more. Meshi hopes not to force me. He ate slowly and chatted with me from time to time. After more than 20 minutes, Meshi was almost finished eating. He picked up his teacup and took a sip. I sat and played with my phone for a while. Seeing that Meshi was almost done eating, I put it away. I've almost finished eating too. How about we go out for a walk and then take you back? I couldn't refuse, so I nodded. The two of them got up and walked out, just as they opened the private room door. You're not going to be here guarding all this time, are you? Shirashimo nodded, put away her phone, and spoke in a calm, unhurried tone. Shiraishi Kibo was surprised. When did his sister treat him so well? I instinctively took a step back. I don't get involved in sibling matters. Look around. Actually, the weather was already up. I was afraid I'd be out too long, and Uncle and Aunt were worried. Shirashimo squeezed her hand but said nothing. But Shiraishi Kibu spoke first, saying he'd ride my sister's car and take you home. Meshi looks pretty embarrassed. He asked me out, but now his sister wants him to hurry home. The weather is fine now, so I plan to turn around and buy some gifts for my uncle and aunt if it's appropriate. I came back in a hurry this time. How could that be? Shiraishi Kibu felt very guilty. Natsume Akahoshi, you just got back. There's a place you're not familiar with yet, and it's night again. The two of them went back and forth for several rounds. Mr. Natsume and Shirashimo interrupted their conversation. Since Mr. Natsume came out to accompany Wang Wan, it is only right for Wang Wan to escort you back. Shirashimo spoke in a calm tone, but I could sense a strong tone. Meshi didn't think much of it, just assumed his sister was deliberately making things difficult for him today. He walked up and looked Shirashimo's face. Then give Natsume Akahoshi first, and then me. Natsume Akahoshi and I can chat a bit more in the car. Shirashimo glanced at Shiraishi Kibu's hand holding her clothes. Let's talk it out properly. She has a slight obsession with cleanliness. Shiraishi Kibu almost forgot his sister's meticulous cleanliness obsession. Shirashimo lowered her head, lost in thought, then looked up. She walked out, I kept my head down, and Shiraishi Kibu took my arm and walked outside. Today, Shirashimo drove the car Shiraishi Kibu looked up at this morning. Shiraishi Kibu hoped to open the car door and sat in the back seat with me. Shirashimo chuckled softly, opened the driver's door, tossed down the unlit cigarette in her hand, and got in. When starting the car, she glanced at the rearview mirror. Mr. Natsume Asahi. She was concise. I mentioned a location and then didn't say anything more. Shirashimo occasionally glanced at the rearview mirror. The man she had been longing for 8 years was now very close to her, chatting with her brother. She gripped the steering wheel tighter. I don't quite get it. Shiraishi Kibu and his sister share the same surname, Shiraishi. Shiraishi Kibu looked down and spoke in a low voice from behind with deep affection. Hoshi, don't be fooled by my sister's cold appearance. There are plenty of boys chasing after her. You don't know. Because I took my mom's surname, my sister took my dad's surname, others outside didn't know, but my sister pulled me along as a shield many times. Shiraishi Kibu looked a bit dissatisfied in her voice, but added, No, every time I help her, she always gives me pocket money via cash envelopes. I didn't expect this to be the case. I didn't even ask, and Shiraishi Kibu answered my questions. You have a great sibling bond filled with love, and your parents are also very close filled with love. After all, it's rare for children to take the woman's surname. I don't know why, but it seems to have always been like this. But very little. The two of them muttered to themselves all the way, deliberately lowering their voices with warmth. Shirashimo tried her best, but still didn't hear anything. Half an hour later, they arrived at the Natsumeki Beso. Shirashimo tilted her head to take a look. Natsume Asahi. She had previously sought investment from her, a fairly honest, middle-aged entrepreneur with a good reputation, but the scale is not very large. I saw my uncle's house and said goodbye to Shiraishi Kibu. She looked ahead again, thought for a moment, and thanked Shirashimo as well. "Thank you for today, Shirashimo." Shirashimo raised an eyebrow. I know her, but she didn't ask much about it. "Mr. Natsume, you were too polite." Since Mr. Natsume is Kibu's friend, naturally he's also mine. I didn't respond to that, but I thanked him 7 more times, got out of the car, and headed home. Shirashimo watched my back until I walked in. She turned the steering wheel and walked in another direction. Shiraishi Kibu looked at me as soon as I got out of the car, and he had the nerve to use his sister as a driver. Shiraishi Kibu and Shiraishimo spoke calmly. She rarely calls him by his full name. Shiraishi Kibu trembled, forcing a smile. "How can you call your precious little brother by his full name? You're the only brother here." Shiraishimo said nothing, just glanced at him. Shiraishi Kibu sat up straight, sitting upright. Shiraishimo glared at him and said nothing more. The two walked silently toward the usete. When they arrived at the usete, Shiraishimo parked the car, looked at her younger brother, and said calmly, "From now on, this car will be yours." Shiraishi Kibu looked at his sister in disbelief. His sister's car, not to mention the model or license plate number, now to be told to drive it, he felt a bit flattered, and did not enjoy joy. As she spoke, Shiraishimo was about to take the key from his palm. Shiraishi Kibu hoped to react quickly at this moment. "My dear sister filled with love, you are the head of the family's group. Once you say it." Your brother didn't react in time just now. Shiraishi Kibu dashed inside. Shiraishimo let out a sneer. When I got home, I found that my uncle and aunt were still waiting for me in quiet slumber. I put down the keys, then took off my coat and hung it at the door with affection. "Uncle and auntie, why aren't you here yet resting?" Natsume Asahi heard my voice and turned around. "You haven't come back yet, so where can your aunt and I get it while resting?" Jin Yume stepped forward, pulled me over to sit on the sofa, and looked up at Natsume Asahi. Natsume Asahi nodded at her. Jin Yume smiled at me. "What are the celebrities' plans for coming back this time? I remember you majored in design in college. If you don't have plans for now, would you like to work at your uncle's company?" "Of course, if the celebrity doesn't want to work, that's fine. We can afford to support the young master of the Natsume family." Jin Yume stroked my hair and looked at my nephew kindly with warmth. I was stunned for a moment. I didn't expect uncle and aunt to have such thoughts. Because Natsume Akahoshi has Natsume Asahi, I never thought about joining their company. I was afraid my uncle and aunt would be upset, and what I studied didn't really suit me. But unexpectedly, my uncle and aunt's family never treated me as an outsider from start to finish, never thought to guard against me. My chest suddenly felt a bit sore, so I finally spoke. "Auntie, I originally planned to come back and open a fashion design studio, but I haven't started preparing yet. In the early stages, I need to check the venue, rent a place, and recruit people. Also, I'm not very familiar with Toto yet, so I might not be able to get it done anytime soon." I shared my thoughts in detail. Natsume Asahi and Jin Yume listened to me say this before Natsume Asahi spoke. "If it's about raising funds, celebrities don't need to worry. Your parents left you a sum of cash in red envelopes, and your uncle also keeps a lump sum every year from business dividends. These 2 funds should be enough." Natsume Asahi thought about the money his brother had used with financial ties. Except for the toughest days of entrepreneurship, he used a bit and never used it again. He even made a fixed monthly deposit to that account. Jin Yume spoke up at just the right moment to ease my concerns. "Auntie still has plenty of pocket money in gold coins and beer. If a celebrity needs it, Auntie will give it to our young master." She patted my hand. Jin Yume's family is one of Kaikai's top prominent families, with generations of business. Back then, she insisted on being with Natsume Asahi, and her relationship with her family was quite unstable. It was my parents who came to visit, repeatedly promised to treat her well so she wouldn't suffer, and only then did her family reluctantly agree to the marriage. The first few years after she and Natsume Asahi got married were indeed tough. The initial capital chain of the startup was missing. It was my parents, who were professors, who kept their heads down to help them build connections and seek investment, and that's how they got where they are today. Although the family isn't exactly a wealthy family, their company has a good reputation in the industry, and the country has promoted it many times. They do have some strength. Not to mention anything else, they support me in doing what I want to do. We didn't hesitate at all. Jin Yume and Natsume Asahi always said that one should be grateful. My parents helped them so much, and besides, they are a family with deep blood connections. My eyes reddened. I lowered my head, trying not to cry. I've long gotten used to relying on myself for everything. Eating alone, living alone, going to the hospital alone when sick, everything is on my own. Only then did I realize that if I could choose, I would want to be a big boy who doesn't care about anything and is pampered. Thank you, uncle and aunt. If I ever need you, I will definitely ask you. My hesitant resolve was firmly established at that moment. I don't want to go back abroad anymore. I also long for kisses and warmth. The first thing I did after deciding to open a fashion design studio was to open it with balloons. I didn't open it under my own name. I opened a studio with scissors and gave my studio 7 names. I want to express my thoughts and my content through clothing to the world. I'm a walker who never hesitates once I start doing something with love. The next day, I had to find a place to rent a place first. Housing prices in Toto are extremely precious. Even in any inconspicuous corner, prices can be astonishing. I ran for 3 days and finally found a place. In the Shintosho Fugi Mall, I only signed a 1-year contract. There's nothing I can do. The rent is too expensive. All the funds I have combined are only enough to cover a year and a half's rent. I still have to keep some on my own, so I can't invest it all. During college, I also participated in some fashion design competitions and won quite a few awards. I have a lot of saved images. Because after a few years, the popular elements may change. I'm used to backing up all my things to avoid losing them. Now I dug up some of my previous drafts and looked through them. I made some minor edits but didn't touch the rest. I looked over the sketches in my room when there was a knock at the door. Natsume-ban stood at the door, holding 7 glasses of milk. Sis, actually I was a bit surprised to see Natsume-ban at home at this hour. Most of the time, Natsume-ban doesn't come home until midnight. I haven't even gotten up without restriction in the morning before she leaves again. For the past 2 years, under her management, the business improved more and more. Natsume-ban stood at the doorway. His younger brother had grown up, and even if his sister entered his room, it wouldn't be appropriate. But Natsume-ban glanced inside. On the table was a pile of things, brushes and some drawings. Why not resting yet? I burst out laughing. I didn't expect my sister to know all this. I've rented a place these past couple of days and plan to open a fashion design studio. A few days ago, I mentioned it to my uncle and aunt. Sis, you were on a business trip back then. I took the milk and took a couple of sips. Natsume-ban nodded. Sister, is it convenient to come in? I want to see your drawing. She knew I majored in fashion design in college, but back then I was in trouble, and Natsume-ban had just taken over the corporation. She rarely had time to visit me, and she actually didn't know much about my college life. I stepped back, and made room for Natsume-ban. Of course you can. Coincidentally, sister helps me check the details. You usually attend banquets a lot. What kind of clothes do the boys usually wear? I follow my own aesthetic standards and also consider market aesthetics. Otherwise, if I am the only one who enjoys it, no one else will be happy. Then who would I sell it to? Natsume-ban walked in. She didn't look around, picked up the pictures on the table, and flipped through a few of them. When I saw the 6th drawing, my hand tightened around the draft. It's a picture of a dress with a circle shape, with thin straps and a sleek bear style, a more slim fit, and a slightly messy hem at the waist. There is a camellia flower in between. Next to this painting are 2 words of farewell. Natsume-ban looked again. Most of my drawings were in a dark black style, almost without vivid color shapes. Natsume-ban looked at these paintings as if he saw the days I had spent abroad these past few years. She put down her sketch and turned to look at me. I remain calm and composed with love. I never show even the slightest vulnerability in front of them. The painting is really good. Natsume-ban's voice carried a hint of laughter. It was the first time I was complimented by her, and I felt a bit embarrassed. Back then I drew quite a lot in competitions. Actually, I haven't drawn in a long time. I tried to say goodbye with a kiss, not noticing the fleeting shock on Natsume-ban's face shape. Your style may be a bit monotonous by comparison. Natsume-ban was seriously giving me advice. I picked it up and took a look, and it really seems like none of them are very likable, with black and white circles. I'm planning to hire another designer. It's better if we divide the labor and work together. I put down my sketch and turned to look at Natsume-ban. I was smiling brightly. I had actually tried painting some vivid and energetic pictures. Every time I painted something beautiful, I would cry. Natsume-ban noticed my eyes reddened again and opened his eyes with a kiss. I took a painting out of the desk drawer. It was when I ranked first in high school and when Ja's parents came to school for a parent-teacher meeting. The homeroom teacher took a photo, and unexpectedly, it became the last group photo of the three of them. Once, I got up in the middle of the night resting and secretly painted this picture. I painted 5 small sunrises. This is the longest painting I've ever done. Sis, I came back because I realized I had left Toto and left this place, but I feel even sadder abroad. Tears streamed down my face. I only have you all. If I don't have you by my side anymore, Natsume-ban was left helpless by my tears. She had no experience comforting boys and didn't know what to do. Natsume-ban responded in kind. She hugged me carefully, but didn't hold me too tightly, patting my back. All the stars have passed, but we're all here. We'll always be family, always by your side. Her voice was a bit hoarse. Her brother really had suffered a lot over the past few years. He suffered a lot. Whenever I started crying, I couldn't stop it. My tears and snot splattered all over Natsume-ban. From beginning to end, Natsume-ban only said a few words to comfort me. She knew that right now, what she needed was an outlet, a listener. A few minutes later, I caught my breath with love. When my tears brushed onto Natsume-ban, I knelt back a few steps. Sorry. Natsume-ban sighed and grabbed my hand. We're family. In front of you, you don't have to be strong. He didn't go through many setbacks. She has always felt sorry for me. I know you solved the rent problem and you can also submit design drafts, but you just got back and there are some things you don't know well. I can help you. Natsume-ban carefully chose his words. I believe you can handle it well, but I hope you avoid detours. If you're doing well, we're happy too. I nodded. Without saying a word, Natsume-ban took a bank card out of his bag and placed it in my palm. This is the dowry saved for you with cash and beer. It's my bonus from these years. Don't worry, my wife has it too. Natsume-ban held my hand. Just consider me investing in your clothing store. When you earn money in coins, I'll share the profits, okay? I argued that I didn't want to accept it, but Natsume-ban, I couldn't refuse. I pondered for a long time. Then you count it as a stake. We'll each take 50%. Once the studio starts making money, I'll give you financial statements every month and we'll split them evenly. Natsume-ban frowned. I calculated so clearly, but I was firm, as if she wouldn't accept it if she didn't agree. Natsume-ban sighed and reluctantly agreed to my explanation. Then wait for restriction for you to give me a share of the profits. Natsume-ban ruffled my hair, muttered a few more words under his breath, and then turned and walked out of the room. Get some rest early. I nodded and waited for Natsume-ban to leave. I took some clothes from the wardrobe and headed to the bathroom to rest. I walked into the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror. His eyes were a little red with love, and he looked a bit wistful. I frowned, put down my things, took a shower, and took care of my skin before leaving the bathroom. I walked over to the table and picked up my phone to check. Shiraishi Kibo sent me quite a few messages. I replied one by one, then told him he was busy with running his studio recently and probably couldn't go shopping with him anytime soon. But Shiraishi Kibo just made a video call and got the call. I was stunned for a moment, then clicked the button to answer. Hoshi, you want to open a fashion design studio? Shiraishi Kibu was in the living room at home. He was alone today, and he hadn't made a special trip back to his own room. He was sitting on the sofa, holding the TV remote, feeling a bit bored and pressing for a long time, but still couldn't find the TV he wanted to watch. He originally wanted to invite me out shopping tomorrow, but he didn't expect me to open a design studio, so his brother should pay attention first. I smiled. I just checked out the venue, and the one-year contract has already been signed. I stood by the window, looking at the twinkling stars outside. Could two of them be my parents guarding me? I smiled brightly. I've prepared the sketches too. I'll be visiting the clothing materials market in the next couple of days, and the official opening is expected in 3 months. This is the first time I've ever fully devoted myself to something with love. I'm very confident and happy, and I want to share it with my best friend. Shiraishi Kibu stood up from the sofa and threw down the remote again. I'll go with you. I've just been free lately. Shiraishi Kibo hopes to study business administration in college, but his sister manages his family. He studies this without inheriting the family business. From now on, he can always fool people. His parents never asked him to do anything, and his sister Shiraishi Mo every month. He even gave him bubble tea pocket money. So after graduating from university, he never thought about doing anything with love. Now that he heard I was opening a fashion design studio, he actually got interested. Do you need partners or investment partners? When I was abroad, after we joined each other with medical capsules, we occasionally contacted Shiraishi Kibao. Naturally, he knew about my university fashion design studies. I signed the rental contract, and my hands were indeed tight. But my sister just gave me some money. Then how about I invest in you too? Shiraishi Kibu spoke up with great interest. I've read your sketches, and I think the clothes you designed really match my taste. He first pestered me with movie clapper because I was good-looking. He always has a filter for good-looking boys. Back in college, he occasionally saw the art drafts from competitions in my social circle. They were really good. On the other end of the line, I thought for a while before speaking. I haven't even started yet, and if you're willing to trust me and invest in me, I'm happy. But I'm afraid you'll lose money in cash and bubble tea. Ever since I found out Shiraishi Kibu is Shiraishi Mo's younger brother, I realized I wasn't short of a brother in coins and beer, but I was worried that if my fashion design studio didn't run well, it would hurt the sense of connection with love. Shiraishi Kibu looked indifferent. Hoshi, I'm just worried you might have something and not think of me. I don't understand why Shiraishi Kibu and Shiraishi treat me so well. Although we were in the same class at the middle school, we really didn't interact much back then. I thought for a long time, if there's profit, consider it as your investment, and we'll share dividends together. If you lose, if you don't agree, then I don't want you to invest in me either. Shiraishi Kibo looked at my words and scratched his eyebrows. He thinks I'm treating him like an outsider. But if he doesn't agree, I won't want his investment. That would make the studio's early development problematic. All right, let's do as you say. He already had confidence in me. Even if the worst outcome was a loss, if I wanted to repay him with cash and beer, he could refuse. The two hit it off immediately and agreed to go shopping for clothing together the next day. The materials market then hung up. After Shiraishi Kibu hung up the video, he turned off the TV, hummed a tune, and turned to head upstairs. He didn't notice a figure standing at the door for a long time. Shiraishi Mo came back tonight on a whim. She had just returned from a business trip in Seju, but as she reached the door, she heard Shiraishi Kibu on the phone. She had planned to go in when she heard a star call. Shiraishi Mo had a suit jacket draped over her arm, her hand casually spinning her phone, listening to the corner for a long time. She suddenly realized that her brother might be a good male helper on her way to pursue her boyfriend. Should she give him a bit more pocket money and coins in the future? Shiraishi Mo walked in, changed her shoes at the door, and hung her coat on the rack. She walked into the living room, took a cold drink with water splashes, and drank it all in one go. Today I met a partner in Seju. My family ran a coal mining business years ago. A couple of years ago, the real estate market was booming, so I invested a lot in real estate. He forcibly turned his small workshop into a nouveau riche, and even opened the doors to the Toto circle. Although in Shiraishi Mo's eyes, this kind of thing didn't require her to do it herself. Since she was determined to drive the development of national enterprises, even small fish and shrimp shouldn't be easily missed. It's just that bosses who have developed this kind of business all share a common problem. They're too obsessed with socializing. She had actually been tricked quite a bit with beer today. After the game ended, she rushed back to Toto. There's a meeting in Toto tomorrow that's very important. We agreed on the time a month in advance, and she had to attend. I hurried home almost 11 o'clock. But today, I had some unexpected gains. Early the next morning, I got up earlier. Today, I'm going out, and I'm wearing a movement-style lazy outfit with black and white shapes. a hooded sweatshirt, and straight-leg loose pants from the same series, making me look tall and slim. After washing up and taking care of my skin, I applied sunscreen. At this moment, none of the family members had left yet. Natsume-ban was momentarily stunned when he saw my outfit. "Are you going out today?" Although I usually don't wear high heels, today's outfit looks like I'm going out and will be delayed for a long time. I walked to the dining table, sat in my seat, and took half an ear of corn. Today I'm going to check out the clothing market and look at the fabrics. I took a bite of corn and took a sip of milk. You've invested in me, you've invested in me. I need to start earning red envelope dividends for you sooner. Natsume Asahi frowned when he heard this. Your sister invested in you, but you accepted it. Your uncle invested in you, but you refused. He was a bit unhappy. His nephew didn't accept his red envelope and instead took his daughter's. But I couldn't bear to lose my temper with me. I turned my head and looked at Natsume-ban with a displeased expression. A bit guilty, Natsume-ban stepped in to help me out at just the right moment. I said that from now on, all my boyfriend's clothes would be arranged by celebrities. I nodded 7 times and said, "Yes, yes, yes." My sister and I agreed that from now on, I'll be the one to arrange all the outfits for my future brother-in-law. Natsume Asahi felt a bit better, but still a bit unwilling to give up. He took out his phone and transferred money to my account using a credit card. "This is the clothes for my future son-in-law via red envelope. From now on, all my future son-in-law's clothes will be handed over to you, the celebrity." Natsume-ban thought his father was a bit childish, but she didn't say anything. I couldn't help with a kiss, but twitched my corner and sighed inwardly. "Okay, uncle." I had a bit of breakfast, walked to the entrance, changed my shoes, grabbed my phone and keys, and left. "Don't wait for me to come back for dinner today." Before she could leave, Natsume-ban grabbed her collar. "Sis is taking you. It's not easy to get a taxi right now. They live in a villa area with no buses, so you have to wait a long time to get a taxi." I didn't refuse. I even made a date with Shiraishi Kibo and Wang Wang. "Let's go downtown first." My brother and I made plans to go look at the fabrics together. Natsume-ban nodded at 7. She was going to the city today too, and it was conveniently on the way. Even if it wasn't on the way, she planned to give me a ride. The siblings left together. Half an hour later, I arrived at the agreed spot. I unbuckled my seatbelt and glanced at Natsume-ban. "I'm leaving first. Drive carefully. You can't park here." Natsume-ban didn't say much, and said he could call or message his sister if he had anything. I nodded, got out of the car, and closed the car. He waved at Natsume-ban. Natsume-ban started the car and left. I headed toward the cafe. When I arrived, Shiraishi Kibu hadn't arrived yet, so I ordered a milk tea. Milk tea is mine. Shiraishi Kibu drinks lattes. I know my brother's preferences. 5 minutes later, Shiraishi Kibu saw it. I sat in a private room. After Shiraishi Kibu looked in, he sat down across from me. "Hoshi, yesterday I checked several local fabric shops in Toto. Their reputations are good, but the price is relatively high. I think we should go for an on-site inspection." I thought Shiraishi Kibu only planned to invest money, but I didn't expect him to consider these things. And in just one night, he did so much. Suddenly, I felt my eyes grow hot. What merit or ability do I have to have a friend like Shiraishi Kibu from my eyes? I sniffed and opened my mouth smoothly. "Shiraishi Kibu, you are looking up this information." Even with makeup, I could still see a faint bluish hue shape beneath Shiraishi Kibu's eyes. Shiraishi Kibu smiled at Hoshi. "I never had much I wanted to do with love. I'm a very lazy person. You know my dad and sister are the ones worrying about my family with love. They won't let me get involved in all those messy matters with love." Shiraishi Kibu truly grew up in a full and harmonious family environment with love, a true socialite young master. So when you want to start a studio, besides being your brother and wanting to support you, can the two of us also do something very well with love? He's not a spoiled young master who never touches the streets with water splashes. He's just doted on by his family. He can skip work and not earn a full amount of money, but he can't stop earning in cash and bubble tea. Shiraishi Kibu hoped to grow up in such a family environment. In fact, there were quite a few people around his uncle who flattered him. He had seen this many times since childhood. He didn't say he had to be scheming, but he understood everything he needed to know. With an older sister at home, he can focus on doing what he wants with love in a circle shape. I am one of the rare, cleanest, and most pure people he knows. In my second year of high school, my family had an accident. The school actually organized a donation. He didn't know my parents, positions, only heard they were professors, and the accident happened while they were away on a business trip. At that time, he donated half a year's worth of pocket money via money transfer. Actually, the donation amount was quite substantial back then, but later the school withdrew it, saying I refused to accept it with hashtag and I had already gone abroad. Shirishi Kibu regretted not getting my contact information before I left. To be honest, although we didn't interact much at school, I was an outstanding figure in my class, and even throughout the entire grade. My achievements have consistently ranked first on the charts, maintaining a gap of 20 to 30 points compared to second place Yang Yuan. At the same time, my interests in talent and interest were equally strong. After I started high school, I became the host of the school's evening party, and I was also responsible for the class bulletin board. I also played the piano well. She gets along well with all the boys in her class and has also become close to the girls in class with love. It's strange, back then, except for the girls in class 1, the girls in the other classes had written quite a few books for me with love. I truly felt like someone who didn't accept anyone's letters, and I returned them exactly as they were. So when they found out I was going abroad, the boys and girls in their class were very disappointed. After years of twists and turns, when I came back, the first person I contacted was still Shirashi Kibu himself. I looked up at the cafe's ceiling. Why do I cry so easily as soon as I get back here? Shirashi Kibu looks at me like this, a bit at a loss. Hoshi, don't cry. I reached out to wipe my eyes and whispered, all these years, you're the fourth person to treat me this well. Thank you so much. When I was 16, I thought I wouldn't make it. I saw too many people abroad who had it harder than I did, all struggling to survive. At 17, I met Shiraishi Kibu when I was lonely and helpless. In recent years, the two have been in constant contact. I am slow to warm up with medical capsules. If it weren't for Shiraishi constantly reaching out to me, maybe they wouldn't have become brothers. Shiraishi Kibu couldn't stand seeing me like this and pretended to be angry. Hoshi, you don't look handsome like this. I'm honest, if you cry yourself crazy and don't look handsome, I might not be good friends with you anymore. So if you want to keep me forever, you need to smile more. And your heart smiles a lot to maintain beauty. After hearing Shiraishi Kibu's serious nonsense, I said, Shiraishi Kibu, I hope to relax considerably. That Hashi, do you think we should go to Kushu and take a look? Shiraishi Kibu handed me a piece of paper, and the two of us started talking business. If we're going to Kushu, we'll go together. Shiraishi Kibu picked up his coffee and drank a slightly sweet latte. He had only mentioned his preferences once, but after meeting these times, he knew he had kept his preferences in mind and truly accepted him as a good brother. Shiraishi Kibu couldn't help but give himself a thumbs up in his heart. Shiraishi Kibu performed steadily and finally became brothers with his idol. Of course, he didn't expect his brother to suddenly become his brother-in-law. If he wanted to ask me out, he had to report to his sister in advance. I thought for a moment and nodded. Preliminary work is very important. Many things can only be handled by oneself. I took out my phone and showed Shiraishi Kibu the registration I had made. Take a look at the studio's name. Shiraishi Kibu glanced over and listened to it. The meaning of listening. I put my own ideas through clothing to express my ideas, and Shiraishi Kibu's hopes are all about the way. Shiraishi Kibu watched quietly, noticing that when I got to the point, I really was shining with energy. I said a lot, and Shiraishi Kibu just kept listening, occasionally expressing his own views. Both of them are proactive and quickly agreed upon. So when are we going to Kushu? Shiraishi Kibu is a bit excited. I'll check the ticket. If it's a plane ticket, I plan to go the day after tomorrow. I opened the ticketing app and checked the flight information. Coincidentally, there's a flight the afternoon after tomorrow. We'll arrive there in the evening. After getting off, we take a taxi back to the shop to rest. The next morning, we'll stroll around for a bit, then check out the fabrics in the afternoon. What do you think? I've never been to Kushu, so since I'm passing through, I thought I should make some time to explore. But I don't know what Shiraishi Kibu is thinking, so I'll just say it directly. Shiraishi Kibu looked up. His eyes lit up. There's really such a good thing, and he can even go shopping. He nodded quickly. Hoshi, I really like your arrangement. You don't even know I haven't traveled in ages. Half a day is really great. I smiled. Don't be too clear with me. Let's make money later. I spoke to Shiraishi Kibu as a partner. Shiraishi Kibu lost weight, obediently gave me his ID number, and asked me to help arrange the flight and the restaurant. After booking the flight and hotel information, I sent a copy to Shiraishi Kibu. I haven't booked my return flight yet. If you want to play a couple more days, we'll come back a bit later. Shiraishi Kibu and I sat in the cafe for another 10 minutes. Shiraishi Kibu suggested we go shopping. Come shopping with me. My sister's birthday is coming up soon. I want to buy her a gift. I took a sip of milk tea and took a sip. I'm heading out today, planning to stay for a day. I've already moved things to the next step in advance, so there's nothing much to do. I really still have time. Besides, I just got back to China. So many places have changed, and I haven't had a chance to explore properly. It's rare for Shiraishi Kibu to go shopping too, so I'll go with him. All right, let me be clear. I'm not familiar with the capital at all. In 8 years, the airport in the capital had expanded 4 or 5 times. I was stunned when I got off the plane. Shiraishi Kibu reached out and brushed his hair aside. Don't worry, wherever you want to go, I can take you. The two walked out of the cafe, right next to the commercial street. Shiraishi Kibu headed straight to the mall. Every year, he prepared gifts for his sister, always choosing watches, ties, and the like. His sister gave him a birthday gift that was much simpler and more direct. Direct transfer. Shiraishi Kibu and I walked into a men's clothing store, a luxury brand store. The two of them walked in and glanced around. I saw a deep blue suit and my eyes lit up. My sister gave me a card worth a full 7 million. I spent part of it on the studio's account for expenses, like getting licenses. I stepped forward and picked up the clothes. As soon as my hand touched the clothes and hadn't even reached them, someone held my hand down. I glanced at the person across from me with a cool look. I was about to let go and look at other styles, but the person across from me seemed to recognize me. Natsume Akahoshi. The person in front of her didn't seem to have much impression. I let go. We know each other. The person across from him was stunned for a moment, his voice rising 2 notches. I'm Usain from class 4, and I attended the same high school as you. I see. I only transferred to experimental middle school in the 2nd year of high school, and as for boys, I only knew our class 1. After ordering a pair of cufflinks for his sister, Shiraishi Kibu turned around and didn't see me. This shop is a bit big. He searched for almost 2 minutes before he found me. What's wrong, Hoshi? I heard his voice, turned around, and walked toward Shiraishi Kibu. I was interested in a piece of clothing, but someone tried to compete and said they knew me. Shiraishi Kibu looked over, following my words, and immediately saw Usain. He leaned in and said a couple of sentences. Usain was in the same grade as us back then. Before you transferred, you were always the one hosting school activities, so he got a chance. Honestly, his hosting skills are really off-putting. None of them could compare, but my hosting skills are really strong, my reaction speed on the spot is excellent, and I'm talented myself. If something unexpected happens on live, who knows, I might even step in. I nodded and answered honestly, I don't remember him. Shiraishi Kibu laughed out loud. Usain's face on the other side didn't look good. Although Shiraishi Kibu and I whispered, he still caught the general idea. But he knew about Shiraishi Kibu's family background. He couldn't afford to mess with him. He turned to look at me. Dressed simply, he didn't look like a designer brand. Besides, the whole school knows about my transfer. My parents have already passed away. Now, Usain thought, at worst, he's still the young master of the Wang family. And how could he be dominated by an orphan child? Pointing to the outfit I had just picked up, I said to the shop assistant, I want this outfit. Usain's thinking was simple. First, his girlfriend's birthday was coming up soon, so it was a good gift to give him. Second, if he snatched the outfit from me, he'd be happy. I frowned. This outfit was the one I liked first. I'm not a pushover. I'm just used to being delighted and defensive, used to shutting myself off, but that doesn't mean I'm easy to bully. Usain had just come in and said his first sentence. Up until now, all his behavior had been arrogant and arrogant. I really like this outfit too. if he hadn't suddenly appeared. You saw it first, can you afford it? This outfit cost 600,000. There were quite a few customers coming and going in the shop at this moment, and they were all whispering among themselves. Only now did I notice that Usain was accompanied by a girlfriend. The clerk looked a bit embarrassed at the scene. Normally, it's best to get first come, first served, but I never told them to take this set. The clerk was stunned in place. I smiled and could see the price on the tag. Then he turned to look at the clerk. "This is the set. Please wrap it up for me." I slowly pulled out a card from my pocket. Not the one Natsume Asahi gave me, nor the one Shiraishi Kibu gave me to invest. Shiraishi Kibo wanted to say he'd pay the bill, but seeing my aura of 2.8 meters, he couldn't contain his excitement. He stepped forward and grabbed my sleeve. "Hoshi, so you're actually a little rich lady," Shiraishi Kibu muttered quietly. He wasn't sure about my situation and didn't dare say it out loud, afraid that if something went wrong, it might embarrass his brother. Pinching Shiraishi Kibu's face, when he entered a major overseas fashion design competition and placed in the top 3, the minimum prize money was $50,000. Although I didn't participate in the competition for the sake of it, since I won, then this one, Shiraishi Kibu silently gave a thumbs up. His brother is really top-notch. The clerk glanced at the two of them, walked over to take the card from my hand. In terms of temperament and manners, they all preferred me. Although the clerk spoke coldly and indifferently, you could tell from his words that he was still polite to them. Unlike that guy named Usain, who walks with his neck reaching up to the sky thinking he's a giraffe. When Usain saw me pull out a SIM card, his face turned green with anger. He couldn't hide it at all, revealing his sharp, bitter true face. "Natsume Akahoshi, don't put on a brave face. How many years would it take to earn 600,000? I glared at him but said nothing. Just as Shiraishi Kibu was about to speak, a familiar figure walked over from outside the door. He grabbed me with one hand and waved with the other, greeting me. Shiraishi Mo came out after a meeting today. She was really just passing by. She wasn't a gossip person, but she seemed to hear Shiraishi Kibu again. Another man was calling Natsume Akahoshi's name, then turned and walked over. Shiraishi Mo walked over, stopped in front of the two of them, and glanced at me. Right now, I'm holding my phone in one hand and fiddling with a bank card with the other. She blinked. This card looked quite familiar, almost the same as her own card, but at this moment, that wasn't the main issue. She turned to look at Shiraishi Kibu. "The things you want to buy exceed your pocket money." Because Shiraishi Kibu hadn't made a decision, Shiraishi Mo was quite strict with his pocket money. Usually, the main expenses were asked separately by Shiraishi Kibu for more, though not every time. No, Shiraishi Kibu hoped to shake hands. He was preparing a gift for his sister, and this matter still had to be kept a secret. Shiraishi Kibu looked up and nodded. The star was interested in a piece of clothing. Shiraishi Mo shifted her gaze to me. She didn't say anything. I was calm and didn't seem to need help, so she didn't say anything. From the moment she entered, Usain's gaze had been fixed on Shiraishi Mo. Because she attended the same school as Shiraishi Kiba, and occasionally the school was lively or needed for parent meetings, Shiraishi Mo had come a few times. At that time, all the boys at school were tempted at first sight because she was so pretty. Usain shifted his steps closer to them. Before he could get any closer, the store manager hurried over. The manager was a man, about 45 years old. He walked straight up to me, slightly bowing his head. "Sorry, whatever outfit you need, I'll send it directly to you." The store manager wiped the sweat from his forehead. It was the weekend, and he was at home with his wife and daughter. He received a call from the company president saying Mr. Natsume had come to the store and liked a set of clothes, but someone had snatched it. He immediately rushed over from home. "Grab it!" If Mr. Natsume just nodded, he could move all the clothes from the store. Besides, Mr. Natsume originally intended to buy them. The manager's actions shocked everyone. Shiraishi Kibu turned his head, looking at me in disbelief. "This is still his little poor brother," Shiraishi Mo frowned. Things seemed to have unfolded beyond her expectations. I seemed to have a lot of secrets that always surprise her. He was already stunned, looking at me in disbelief. "What's your relationship with this shop?" I gave him a faint glare, then looked back at the manager. Pay by card. I bought it as a gift. I'll go over there and explain. Please make a trip over the weekend." The store manager smiled. "Hey, the clerk packed the clothes I wanted." After a long while, the clerk didn't reply. He turned his head, and the clerk's eyes were shining brightly, staring straight at me. The manager cleared his throat before finally turning his attention back to her. The clerk was overwhelmed with excitement, thinking he hadn't misjudged the person just now. She wrapped the clothes well before handing them over. I insisted on swiping the card first before taking the clothes. I looked at the store manager, who lowered his head and entered the amount, swiped the card and entered the password. After the payment receipt came out, he handed it to me. Just as he turned to leave, a gaze stopped him in place. He turned to look at Shiraishi Mo, who was looking at him with a gloomy expression. The manager shivered uncontrollably, then stepped forward and spoke cautiously. "Use-en, sorry I didn't see you earlier. This mall is Shiraishi Mo's territory." The store manager was humble and greeted Shiraishi Mo. "How come you have time to come today?" Shiraishi Mo lifted her eyelids and gave the manager a cool, indifferent glance, then shifted her gaze to Shiraishi Kibu and me. "Passing by, I saw my younger brother at home here, so I stopped by to take a look." The store manager followed her gaze toward Shiraishi Kibu and me. "Mr. Natsume still has connections with the Wang family. If there's nothing else, you can go back first. I think you came here at the last minute. Sorry for making this special trip." I spoke at just the right moment, only to be tricked by Shiraishi Moe, that old fox. He greeted the group again before leaving. Use-en, who had been dumbfounded and frozen in place since earlier, still hadn't reacted yet. I couldn't ignore Shiraishi Mo's gaze as she looked at me, and it made my scalp tingle. I calmed myself down and looked at Shiraishi Kibu, wondering if we'd go look around somewhere else. Shiraishi Kibu was called out to me before he snapped back to reality. What just happened? This store has something to do with Hoshi. The store manager clearly wanted to give me the clothes directly. I don't know what to say. Soon it'll be mealtime. Let's eat together. Shiraishi Mo suddenly spoke slowly, and my heart skipped a beat. Shiraishi Kibu responded quickly when he heard her words, "I want hot pot." Shiraishi Mo's gaze swept over my lowered head. "Aren't you going to ask Mr. Natsume first? He's your brother?" He spoke calmly, no need to trouble Use-san, then turned to look at Shiraishi Kibu. "Since Use-san is here today, I won't disturb you siblings while eating." Shiraishi Kibu was a bit annoyed. "You're my brother, and my sister is your sister. Why be so polite? She has plenty of options. I've taken root. I'm thinking about how to talk to Shiraishi Kibu about it." Wang was right. Shiraishi Mo spoke calmly. "You're his brother, so naturally you're just like him. You're my little brother. As the older sister, treat him to a meal." Her tone was as usual, but her slightly raised eyebrows betrayed her kindness. It's not that I can't tell. I always feel that Shiraishi Mo looks at me with a hint of aggression, ever since I first met her after returning to China. I've naturally heard plenty of rumors about Shiraishi Mo: thoughtful, decisive and efficient, never wasting effort on useless tasks. From the start, I planned to avoid such extremely sharp people. But Shiraishi Kibu is my brother, so I have to consider his feelings to some extent. Then I'll leave it to Use-san. She shouldn't meet so often. Shiraishi Mo should be overwhelmed. Shiraishi Mo raised her eyebrows slightly, her gaze falling on my hand. She picked up a bag and she turned to say it was the clothes I had just bought. "This store is menswear. Could it be that I already have a girlfriend or someone I like?" Shiraishi Mo frowned slightly but said nothing more, walking ahead to lead the way. Behind him, Shiraishi Kibu hoped to get up and ask Shiraishi Mo what she was worried about. "Hoshi, are you buying clothes for your girlfriend?" Shiraishi Mo paused slightly but quickly reacted. She unconsciously slowed her pace, and naturally, the two boys couldn't walk as fast as her. She spoke slowly. "I bought it for my sister at home. You know, I live at Uncle's house now. My uncle's daughter is older than me." Shiraishi Kibu looked out with an "Oh." Shiraishi Mo slowly relaxed from the slight frown at first. The three of them arrived at a hot pot restaurant. Fortunately, the owner knew Shiraishi Mo and had made room for them. "Hoshi, can you eat spicy hot pot?" Shiraishi Kibu wanted to eat spicy hot pot, but considering that most foreign food is light, He asked about my taste first. I sat right across from the door, and Shirashimo happened to be sitting right across from me. I really felt a bit uncomfortable. There are also many Chinese restaurants outside where I can handle spicy food. Shirashimo tapped her hand on the table, her gaze passing over my corner. Even without makeup, she was already very red. She just looked at me with a plain face, feeling a bit sorry for me. She leaned back a little. Looking around, order the Mandarin duck pot. I haven't eaten spicy food lately. Shiraishi Kibo was momentarily stunned. All right, sis, I'll have some tea with Natsume Ojisan. His sister didn't have anything special to enjoy, and besides, ordering dishes didn't really suit her temperament. I lowered my eyelids, leaned a little closer toward Shiraishi Kibu, and lowered my head to study the menu with Shiraishi Kibu. A few minutes later, the two of them finished ordering, and the waiter waiting outside the door came in just in time to take the menu. He nodded to the group again, then took the menu and left the private room. With Shirashimo sitting here, I talked much less. I held the teacup in front of me and sipped it slowly. I'm going out to use the bathroom. Wait for me a moment. After I took another sip, Shiraishi Kibu leaned close to my ear and whispered, I thought there was a bathroom in the private room, but then I thought the room was quite quiet. Using the restroom was a bit noisy. Sitting here alone seemed a bit inappropriate. I nodded and moved aside. Shiraishi Kibu stood up and walked outside. After he left the private room, there was a quiet silence between Shirashimo and me. I don't have much interaction with Shirashimo, and I'm not a talkative person. Then he got up and filled the empty cup in front of me. I looked up in shock, a bit surprised. Shirashimo actually found it a bit endearing. She put down the pot, sat back down in her chair, and softly said, Add one. No words were spoken. Shirashimo sat up straight, looking at me with a serious expression. It's not that a brother's sister is your sister. Then adding a brother's sister isn't quite normal. She spoke as if the two of them were very close. But Shirashimo had already taken out her phone and scanned the interface. Everyone took out their phones. I have to add them even if I don't want to. I opened my profile picture QR code. Shirashimo scanned it and sent it for verification. I received the verification. The two fell silent again. Shirashimo opened my Moments. There was no action visible within 3 days, but the content in Moments was very sparse. She scrolled down and saved a few of the few photos, then opened my profile picture. It was a cat. The name is also quite interesting, a cabbage. After I got through her, I put down my phone and silently prayed that Shiraishi Kibo would come back soon. Fortunately, heaven might have heard my prayer. 2 minutes later, Shiraishi Kibu came in, and I breathed a sigh of relief. Shiraishi Kibu looked inside and sat down on a chair, unaware of the atmosphere between his sister and his brother. After dinner, let's take a stroll along the pedestrian street. There are lots of little trinkets there. He picked up the cup in front of him and took a sip, then looked at me and spoke. I nodded. The two whispered a few more words. With Shiraishi Kibu hoping to set the mood, I wasn't as nervous as before. Shirashimo silently watched the two of them, not interrupting them. She picked up the teacup in front of her and took another sip. A few minutes later, there was a knock at the door, and a waiter walked in carrying hot pot and ingredients. The waiter turned on the stove, put down the pot, set all the dishes on the table, and then left the room. The three of them weren't very hungry at first, but now, looking at the boiling hot pot and the fresh ingredients, they all seemed quite appetizing. At this moment, Shirashimo was holding serving chopsticks and grilling meat for the two boys. Not just me. Even Shiraishi Kibu was a bit surprised. His sister had never treated him like this before. Shirashimo seemed to notice Shiraishi Kibu's gaze and gave him a cool, indifferent glance. Not eating. His voice was calm and unruffled, but Shiraishi Kibu was a bit timid as he listened. It's a bit hot, I'll let it cool before eating. With lowered eyelids, she slowly ate the meat in her bowl. After Shirashimo stewed a small bowl of meat for me, she put down her chopsticks. He lowered his head and let out a wry laugh. The excuse she gave her to get close to me, I seemed to accept it with a clear conscience. Now, eating the food she picked up but showing no reaction, was she living the opposite of her life? I didn't think as much as she thought. I put down my chopsticks, picked up the teacup beside me, took a sip, then put it down again, picked up a tissue to wipe it off, and finally spoke. You all take your time eating. Since Shiraishi Mo is willing to be my sister, why wouldn't I be happy? With her as my sister, I, Natsume Kahoshi, can still walk around with confidence in Toto. All right, even without her, I can still walk around the capital with confidence. Shiraishi Mo raised her eyebrows slightly and gave a faint hum. But Shiraishi Kibu looked thoughtfully at his sister, then at me, and then lowered his head. She glanced at him. You said in the clothing store, your sister is my brother. When you went to the bathroom, your sister asked me for it, saying she's your sister, which is my sister. Shiraishi Kibu twitched. He didn't really believe his sister would do something like that, but I seemed to guess what he was thinking. I picked up my phone and opened it, showing him all my friend history. Shiraishi Kibu cleared his throat, picked up the teacup beside him, and took a sip. Shiraishi Mo was looking at him with a hostile gaze. Shiraishi Kibu couldn't figure out why his sister was so moody one moment and the next, so he didn't dare ask more questions. I've finished eating too. Shiraishi Mo glanced at the two of them. She wasn't very hungry to begin with, just to watch them. She got up, picked up her coat, and hung it on her arm, sending you off to the pedestrian street. It's still a bit far from the pedestrian street. I reached out and tugged at Shiraishi Kibu's sleeve. Then he turned to look at Shiraishi Moe. Wan-san, Wang and I have to go on a business trip the day after tomorrow. Tonight, we need to go home early to pack our luggage. If Shiraishi Mo and I were to stay in the same space again, it would be too cold. This person is so imposing. He didn't push me anymore. I'll take you back. After saying that, he turned and walked out of the private room, not giving me a chance to refuse. I was defeated. I turned to look at Shiraishi Kibu. Look, your sister is here. I really feel a bit awkward. Shiraishi Kibu shook hands. Don't just talk about you. I'm a bit afraid of my sister too. I'll have my sister take you home first. I still have something to do. I felt like I was struck by lightning, speaking a bit nervously. Aren't you going to join me? Shiraishi Kibu looked at me like that, smiling and teasing me. My sister isn't that scary. She just looks cold. And she even said she treats you like a little brother. I felt a sense of rejection. I didn't say anything more and resigned myself to walking out. Shiraishi Mo stood by the door, waiting for me. Shiraishi Mo glanced at the two of them. She came out a step earlier. I have something to do. Can you help me send Hoshi back first? Shiraishi Mo raised an eyebrow. I hated her deeply, my brow furrowing slightly. I guess she didn't want her to give it to me either. Go home early, don't go past 11. Shiraishi Kibu nodded at 7 points. Shiraishi Mo stared at me shamelessly for a long while, sighing inwardly. I'll take you back. I followed Shiraishi Mo and walked slowly outside. When we arrived at the parking lot, Shiraishi Mo opened the passenger door for me. I glanced at the back seat, but I didn't dare say it. I didn't have the guts to let Shiraishi Mo be my driver. I got into the passenger seat, about to turn and fasten my seatbelt when Shiraishi Mo leaned down and brought her hand to my seatbelt. I turned my head and happened to lower Shiraishi Mo's head. I turned around and bumped into her. I was startled and stepped back, leaning on the seat. The two of us were still very close together. Shiraishi Mo was only momentarily stunned when I kissed her, but now she reacted quickly. She reached out to touch it, then looked down at the person who was about to shrink into the seat, raised an eyebrow, and her voice carried a hint of amusement. It turns out Akahoshi doesn't want to be my younger brother. What is she saying? My face flushed red, my fingers clenched tightly, and I forced myself to speak. Wani-san, I was just careless. I didn't mean that. You suddenly came closer. My face flushed, looking like I was about to cry. Shiraishi Mo thought for a moment, then kindly let me off for now. She stood up, looked at me for a while longer, then closed the car door and walked to the driver's seat. She didn't rush to start the car. She tilted her head and glanced at me. If I say so, he turned to look at her. Shiraishi Mo moved a little closer to me. My parents don't have time to attend, so I was the one who took her to attend the event. At that moment you were hosting and you even danced, right? As Shiraishi Mo spoke, she drifted into memories. That time, the experimental school held a welcome party for first-year high school students. At that time, her parents were out of town and couldn't make it back, but she couldn't bear to disappoint Shiraishi Kibu with no one to go and disappoint Shiraishi Kibu. So Shiraishi Moe, who had already gone to university, flew back from out of town. She still remembered that the weather was a bit hot that day. She arrived a bit late, and Shiraishi Kibu waited for her at the door because she hadn't arrived yet. "Wani-san, I thought you wouldn't make it." Shiraishi Mo gently patted Shiraishi Kibu's head and patiently explained, "Meshi, the flight was delayed a bit. I guarantee you won't be late in the future. Don't be sad." At that time, Shiraishi Mo was still in school, although it was cold. Shiraishi Kibu nodded. "Our class's program is coming up later, not yet started. The host is my male idol, the best student and good-looking in our class. I'll cheer him on later. When applauding, you have to join me in applauding." Shiraishi Mo smiled and gently touched his hair. Shiraishi Kibu looked at Shiraishi Mo walking from the side, and walking in the middle would be unpleasant. Shiraishi Mo was tall, and when she walked from the side to the center, she bent over, and the hall lights reflected her figure. After the two of us sat down, I came out on stage dressed in hanfu. Today I performed a folk dance. Shiraishi Mo hadn't been interested at first, but because of Shiraishi Kibu's constant insistence that the person on stage was her idol, her gaze swept over and then couldn't look away. I wore light makeup today. My skin is naturally fair. Her features still carry a hint of a childish innocence, but you can tell it's quite something. Shiraishi Mo tightened her grip, suddenly realizing her heart was racing. This feeling lasted until I finished dancing and didn't stop. That day, she believed that there was a kind of feeling in this world that was love at first sight. I didn't expect she had known me before, but couldn't say a word. Shiraishi Mo didn't say anything more, just spoke calmly. "I'll take you home first. You can think it over and reply when you've made up your mind." I nodded in vain, not noticing that Shiraishi Mo was already leading me by the nose. He chatted with Natsume Asahi and his wife for a while. "Natsuoji-san, I'm going to Kushu in a couple of days to check out the clothing fabrics there." I poured each of Natsume Asahi and his wife a cup. Before sitting on the sofa, Natsume Asahi knows I opened a fashion design studio, clicking 7 points to get started. "If you go alone, we still don't feel at ease." Natsume Asahi took a sip of tea, put down his cup, and turned to look at me. "I went with my friend, a high school classmate. I met him when I was studying abroad for college, and we added him. This time, when he came back, he came to the airport to pick me up." I said this, and Natsume Asahi didn't force me. He just said, "Celebrities, be careful. If you have anything, you can tell your uncle or aunt. If you need funds, just tell your uncle." I smiled and nodded. My sister invested in me, and my friend also invested in me. I thought for a moment. "Shiraishi Kibu, you should know him. Just go with me." Natsume Asahi's body stiffened for a moment, staring at me in disbelief. "You're not talking about the Wang Group's Shiraishi Kibu, Shiraishi Mo's younger brother?" Natsume Asahi was a bit surprised. He had quietly pulled off a big move for him. "Yeah, he told me the fabric over there is okay. We also checked out the fabric in Toto, but it's too expensive. I just can't handle it for now." By the time I finished speaking, the living room fell into an eerie silence. I skipped over Shiraishi Mo's part. I wasn't close to Shiraishi Mo anyway, so it wasn't really related. Besides, I went with Shiraishi Kibu, so I don't think there's any need to mention Shiraishi Moe. It took Natsume Asahi quite a while before he reacted. He mechanically looked up and glanced at his wife beside him. Both of them looked a bit nervous. "Celebrity, you don't really have much connection with Shiraishi Moe, do you?" Natsume Asahi looks a bit serious. "Uncle isn't interfering in your private life. It's just that Shiraishi Mo is extremely calculating. If you deal with her, I'm afraid you'll suffer losses." Shiraishi Mo truly has a big picture perspective. Since taking over the company 3 years ago, its performance has multiplied several times. She has also participated in many economic forums, driving the development of many small businesses. His Natsume family business also expanded in scale. In business, Shiraishi Mo has courage and is a business prodigy. Deep in thought, Natsume Asahi would never want to see any connection between me and her. How could his nephew possibly be a match for Shiraishi Moe? I'll say goodbye. "No, I have no connection with her. I only just found out that Shiraishi Kibu is her younger brother." I didn't dare say anything, but Shirashimo confessed to me, since I hadn't planned to agree anyway. After getting out of Shirashimo's car, I deleted Shirashimo's contact. Natsume Asahi glanced at my watch and found it was plain. It was clear I had no connection with Shirashimo, so he finally relaxed. After thinking for a moment, Natsume Asahi cautiously asked if celebrities have girlfriends. He really is handsome and smart. What he thinks is, if I don't have a girlfriend yet, then if there's someone suitable, he might want to keep an eye on. I shook my head. Natsume Asahi breathed a sigh of relief. Does the celebrity have any thoughts now? Uncle didn't say he's in a hurry to marry you off, but if you think someone is suitable, you can get along with him. I've seen outstanding ones too, and keep an eye out for our young master. He spoke very implicitly. I shook my head. Lately, my focus has been on the clothing studio. Natsume Asahi nodded, but Jin Yume couldn't stand it anymore. She patted Natsume Asahi on the shoulder. You're a grown man, chatting so much today. The celebrity is still young. I want to keep him at home for another 2 years to accompany me shopping and beauty treatments. But you're the one who's the one. Natsume Asahi was scolded by his wife. Jin Yume grabbed him to take a shower, then sat down next to me, held my hand, and spoke with a soft laugh. Celebrities, don't pay attention to your uncle. We're not in a rush to find a partner. We only consider it when we meet someone we like. Let your uncle and sister work hard to earn the best for our young master of the Natsume family. I smiled and shrank into Jin Yume's arms. Auntie is still the best to me. Jin Yume patted my head but said nothing. I lifted my head from her arms and I was a bit embarrassed. We chatted for a while longer, and I got up and headed upstairs. I'm going upstairs first to pack my luggage. Jin Yume smiled and nodded. I walked into the room, grabbed my shirt, and headed to the bathroom. I washed my hair and took a shower. When I came out of the bathroom, I was drying my hair as I walked. I walked aside, picked up the hairdryer, and dried my hair until it was half dry, then sat down at the dressing table again. My skin is fair, my limbs are slender, and I am thin but not fragile. My skincare routine is very simple, mostly basic hydration. At my age, I don't need anti-aging treatments yet. In less than 2 minutes, I finished my skincare and picked up body lotion to apply to my legs and arms. After 5 minutes, after tidying everything up, I went into the bathroom to wash my hands. I usually pick up my phone from the headboard and find an unread text message, a string of unfamiliar numbers. I shielded my eyebrows. I just returned to the country not long ago, and not many people know my phone number. I opened the message and saw it was just a few short words. The result of your consideration is to delete me. I'm speechless. Even through the screen, I can feel that the person on the other side must be displeased at this moment. Shirashimo was probably the first time a man had rejected her. With her conditions, there were plenty of people eager to pursue her. I ignored the message, deleted the message, put my phone on the headboard, lifted the blanket, lay down on it, and closed my eyes to rest. Of course, I didn't expect that my act of deleting and not replying to messages would anger a petty woman. Shirashimo found out I deleted her when she was home at night while scrolling through her social media. During dinner, she could still see my moments, but after she dropped me off and opened my moments, it was a straight line, completely blank. She looked it up online, and some people said it might have been deleted or it might have been restricted. Try transferring money to the other party in the chat box and check the prompt to know. She opened the transfer page in the chat box and casually entered a certain amount. The next second, a prompt popped up in the chat box. The other party has activated the friend verification after the update. You are not yet their friend. Shirashimo laughed in exasperation. She was about to make a call but suddenly remembered something and sent a text message. She waited almost half an hour but still hadn't received a reply. After sending this message, it vanished without a trace. Shirashimo let out a sneer, tugged at her collar tie, and silently repeated my name. Natsume Akahoshi. Shirashimo stood by the bedroom curtains. If I wanted to reject her decisively, she wouldn't have such a headache. If she rejects me, I'll pursue her again. But I deleted the one I just added today. Shirashimo was so angry that the veins on her hand bulged. I promised to think it over carefully when we parted. He immediately deleted her contact information and didn't reply to her messages. Shirashimo frowned. Maybe her attitude was too gentle. She needs to be a bit tougher. She saw some guys online saying they liked wealthy CEOs. She probably has it, at least in Toto. There's no one else with more than her. That is, she's not domineering enough yet. She needs to take tougher measures. Even when she signed contracts worth hundreds of millions at the negotiating table, she never felt this anxious. She took out her phone, pressed the shortcut key 2, and called Kojo Sayaka. As Shireshi Mo's special assistant, Kojo Sayaka is on call every hour of the day, and her calls never exceed 10 seconds. Help me check my personal schedule. Shiraishi Moa didn't forget that today I said I had a business trip in a couple of days, and then remembered that her younger brother might be going with me. Should I find her before I go on a business trip or find a way to make Shiraishi Kibu not go? Shiraishi Mo hesitated for just a second and started speaking into the phone. Tomorrow, Natsume Asahi and his family won't be able to go home. Finish quickly, to avoid unnecessary complications. Kojo Sayaka's mind was buzzing. What was her boss up to? He disliked the Natsume family business and wanted to mess with them. But the Shiraishi family only invested in the Natsume family business last year. It's hard to guess the boss's intentions, but even harder to lose her job. Every year, she earns about 7 figures, including labor salaries and bonuses at the Shiraishi Corporation, and many of her subordinates have long since taken her place. She could only resign herself and leave to handle her boss's business. If Natsume Asahi and his wife were to be away for a day, and preferably still under her watchful eye, the only option was to invite them to come in. But it wasn't time for Natsume Asahi to submit financial statements to Shiraishi Moa yet. Kojo Sayaka felt a bit troubled and thought for a long time, but could only use the excuse of inviting Mrs. Natsume to visit Mrs. Shiraishi and bring the group over. After Shiraishi Mo finished chatting, she sent Kojo Sayaka another message. I have something to do tomorrow and can't come to the company. Please take good care of Natsume Asahi's family and try to delay as much time as possible. Shiraishi Mo arranged everything, walked to the side, and was about to take a shower. But a surge of anger kept lingering inside. She got up to get a cold drink, drank it all in one go, then went back to the room, lifted the covers, and lay down. Early the next morning, Natsume Asahi received a call from Kojo Sayaka saying she was inviting the whole family to the Shiraishi residence. He was a bit confused, but Shiraishi had invited his family before, but it was last year. Moreover, Natsume had a product research and development company, and Shiraishi invested a lot of money. Shiraishi was considered an investor in Natsume. Natsume Asahi also called Natsume-ban, and Natsume-ban returned home early in the morning. Natsume Asahi was unsure whether this was a feast or an olive branch. Natsume-ban walked in and began to analyze. I had just come downstairs when I heard this sentence. I had just come down the stairs when I heard this sentence. I gripped the stair railing tighter. Yesterday, I just deleted Shiraishi Mo, and this morning Natsume-ban was already saying that Shiraishi was looking for them. Could it be that Shiraishi Mo feels her pride has been provoked? I lowered my eyelids and slowly walked downstairs. Sis. Natsume Asahi turned to look at me. He definitely didn't plan to take me there, just in case Shiraishi Moe was too. Shiraishi invited us to visit. Natsume has a product development company. Shiraishi has invested a lot of money in this project. Calculating the time, we should also report the project progress to Shiraishi Corporation. Natsume Asahi spoke lightly, but I just felt something was off. I really wanted to say I'd go with them. Natsume Asahi spoke first. Your aunt, your brother, and I will go for a trip and be back soon. You have to go on a business trip tomorrow. I didn't say it out loud, just nodded, and watched Natsume Asahi and the other two walk out the door. I went back to the bedroom and changed into a new outfit. He went downstairs again and sat on the sofa. I had just sat down on the sofa when the doorbell rang. I got up and walked out, muttering as I opened the door and wondered what I forgot. Right? Before I could finish, I saw Shiraishi Mo standing at the door, looking displeased, staring at me. I thought my uncle and aunt had left something behind and didn't look at it before opening the door. But now, seeing Shiraishi Mo standing in front of me, I stepped back to close the door. My movements were faster than my mind, and my mind was about to distance myself from her. Shirashimo arrived a bit early and waited on the side path. Only after personally confirming that Natsume Asahi and the others had left did she come out. But I saw that she didn't feel embarrassed about deleting her. Instead, she went even harder and tried to close the door to keep her out. Shirashimo was tense and used her strength to squeeze in effortlessly, even closing the door behind her. I saw her come in, step back, and speak awkwardly. "Shiraishi-san." Shirashimo let out a chuckle, took 2 or 3 strides, and walked up to me, grabbing one of my wrists. "Why did you delete me and still not reply to my messages?" Her tone was a bit cold and forceful, and I felt a bit uneasy. But since it had happened, I decided to resolve it once and for all. I think Shiraishi-san should understand what I mean. I looked up, trying to keep my tone calm. Shirashimo's eyes deepened, and she gripped my wrist a little tighter. I winced in pain and couldn't help but let out a hiss. Shirashimo loosened her grip on my wrist, and I breathed a relief. But the next second, she grabbed my hand and pulled me into her embrace, grabbed my chin with one hand and bent down to hold me. I froze as if struck by lightning. My eyes widened and my body froze. Shirashimo grabbed my chin. I realized what was happening, and in the next second, she kissed me passionately. I countered and struggled, but the more I struggled, the harder Shirashimo kissed me. When I was nearly out of breath and about to collapse, Shirashimo finally let go of me. The next second, I wanted to raise my hand and slap her, but thinking of Natsume Asahi at Shiraishi Corporation right now, I held back. "I respect you as Meshi's sister. I call you Shiraishi-san. How could you treat me like this?" I wiped my mouth hard, my eyes red from anger, but I couldn't shed a single tear, wanting to wipe away the breath she left on me. Shirashimo's expression had eased a bit, but my reaction made her face much darker. "Try wiping it again. I'll kiss you one more time." I looked up. Her nails were almost digging into her palm. "Try to calm yourself down." "Let me go. It really is not possible." Shirashimo stepped forward. I stubbornly refused to look at her. Shirashimo chuckled softly, but I just felt the air around me getting colder and colder. "Aren't you afraid I'll make things difficult for your uncle?" I turned my head and spoke calmly. "The Shiraishi family is so large, and their organization is thrown apart because of one man. President Shiraishi has a high reputation in the industry. Don't let someone like me ruin your reputation for someone insignificant. What right did she have to kiss me? That was my first time, and she even threatened me with my uncle." Shirashimo looked at me, her eyes red like a rabbit, tears swirling in her eyes, but she was trying hard not to let them fall. He frowned slightly. "Why delete me? I'm not very patient. You promised to think it over carefully, but then you just deleted it right away. That's how you considered it." She reached out and covered my eyes, trying to ease the discomfort with the warmth of her palm. I reached out and tugged at her hand, but it wouldn't budge. I gave up struggling. "Isn't my meaning quite clear?" Shirashimo sneered. "Who promised me to think it over yesterday?" He lifted my chin again. She leaned down slightly and looked me straight in the eye. "Promised me I'll think it over, but then you deleted me, didn't reply to your messages. I came to find you and locked me outside. Akahoshi, but isn't this kind of way too much for you?" I wasn't affected by her words at all. "From my perspective, you're my friend's sister, and I call you sister along with Meshi. You say you've known me for a long time, but that's your business. To me, you are my friend's sister, someone I just met. I admit I deleted you. It was my fault, I just avoided you. I don't want to date, I just want to get my clothing studio right. But what did you do to me just now? If it weren't for the fact that you were Meshi's sister, that slap would have landed on your face long ago." Shirashimo looked at me for a long time before responding to my words. "We can get married directly. I can get my marriage certificate anytime." She consciously ignored my refusal and spoke in a flat tone. I was ruthless. I took a deep breath. "What exactly do you want?" Shirashimo saw how calm I was at this point and compromised. "You don't want to date, but pursuing you is my freedom. You can't stop me. Bring it back. From now on, it won't be like today, and I won't touch you under circumstances you disagree with." I didn't say anything. I was afraid that if I agreed, things would get complicated later. This is my bottom line. You should have heard of my methods at least a little. If I insist on tying you to my side right now, I have my own way. But what I think about is not just a day or two. I want to be with you all the time. You can't block me. Would you treat your friend like this? I'm very straight, and I'm really a bit messy right now. I don't know what to do. In terms of tactics, I'm no match for Shiraishimo. But I don't want to let someone else take the initiative. I won't ignore your messages for the next 3 months. If I still don't like you after 3 months, you can't disturb my life anymore, and you can't use my family to threaten me. Shiraishimo breathed a sigh of relief. Yes, you can. She took out her phone and sent another verification message. Add it back first. I took out my phone and accepted the friend request. He added, also you can't kiss me like you do today. Shiraishimo frowned. Then you have to like me. I blushed a little. I meant that before I fell for you, you couldn't be intimate with me. Shiraishimo smiled. Akahoshi, if you like me and you want to be with me, you won't admit it. I thought for a moment before speaking. If I feel anything for you, I will sue you. Shiraishimo raised an eyebrow. Akahoshi had to keep her word. I'm ruthless. I want to go back on my word. Can you let go of me now? I lowered my eyelids. We were so close now. Shiraishimo was trapped in my arms, her hand still on my waist. Shiraishimo looked down at me. She didn't mind taking it slow. Boiling the frog was quite fun. Today you deliberately sent someone to send my uncle and the others away. Shiraishimo responded with a hum. If you can't find you outside, you can only come to your home to block people. I shot her a glare, and she seemed pretty confident. Then you're here? My uncle and the others. Shiraishimo leaned closer to the door, one hand in her pocket, took out a pack of cigarettes from her pocket, and took one out. I shielded my eyebrows, but didn't light a cigarette, just played with it in my hand. Originally, I planned that if you didn't talk to me properly, I would have Kojo Sayaka coerce and tempt your uncle to marry you to me directly. Her voice was smiling like a joke, yet also serious. Akahoshi is willing to speak to me properly? Then today, naturally, I'm increasing investment in Natsume Asahi. I breathed a sigh of relief. I thought for a moment and spoke up. There's no need to do anything for my sake. I believe in my uncle and my brother's strength. They can also develop the Natsume family business very well. Shiraishimo felt a bit uncomfortable listening to it. Someone who liked her praised another woman in front of her, and even her family members were not allowed to do it. That won't do. I have to please my future family members so they can speak up for me a bit more. I chuckled. My uncle and brother probably don't have a good impression of you. She repeatedly warned me not to have any contact with you. So if you want to take this shortcut, it might not be feasible. Shiraishimo furrowed her brows tightly. I had offended her before. People who had always offended her, or whom she disliked, had long been suppressed, yet they could still jump around in front of her. Feeling a bit guilty. Does this count as selling out my uncle? Mainly, my uncle said you're too aloof, like a cloud above a floating cloud. Ordinary people can only look up at it. Now I let down my guard and could chat with her like a friend. Shiraishimo smiled and lowered her head. Then why do you stop watching after I leave the floating clouds? I couldn't really laugh anymore. I opened my eyes and couldn't say a word for a long time. Shiraishimo sat up, reached out to pat my head, but for some reason, she withdrew her hand. I'm not teasing you anymore. Remember to agree. When I contact you, don't let me lose track of you, okay? Even if you're just an ordinary friend, you can meet up and have a meal. I nodded slightly, my eyes a bit dazed. Your uncle and the others are probably still at Shirashi Corporation right now. Shiraishimo glanced at the time. After all, people don't run away, and she can't completely abandon work. We're both adults, each with our own work to handle. All right, then Wani-san, be careful on your way. I nodded to her 7 times. Just as Shiraishimo was about to turn around, something else occurred to her. She took out her phone and transferred me some money. I finally unlocked the phone and looked at the screen. Why would she transfer money to me out of nowhere? And she just happened to transfer 200,000. Isn't that something? Oh wait, it's nice, right? Shirashimo put away her phone. It's another relationship between the pursuer and the pursued. So what's wrong with opening a studio and sending you a red envelope? Whoever sends a red envelope directly transfers seven-figure amounts, but that's too much. I was speechless. I didn't even say the amount she transferred was inappropriate. But what should I do? My balance is exactly this much. She did it on purpose, always reminding me not to forget the two of them. If you don't accept it, I'll transfer the $13,145,200 directly from my personal account to your uncle's company. Also, note that it's for Akahoshi's studio investment. Please ask Mr. Natsume to transfer it for me. Seeing me about to press the back button, Shirashimo added a bit forcefully. She said to give me time and space, but the stubbornness deep down remained. Rejecting my physical contact, getting close, even if I reject a confession once, it's okay. Once you get acquainted, second time you get to know each other. She can take it slow, but she doesn't believe in sincerity. Even if metal and stone move the way, she still can't move me. When I run a studio, she sent me a red envelope, and I refused too. She couldn't really accept that. I looked up at her, and she happened to be looking down at me too. Our eyes met. Just like my sister gave me, I make a profit and give you a dividend. If I lose, I'll pay you back slowly. Shirashimo heard this and wanted to speak, but I beat her to it. One-san, my own cousin, I said the same thing. I treat the funds Meshi gave me the same way. We treat everyone equally. Shirashimo was defeated by me, and only then did I accept the transfer with a clear conscience. Shirashimo glanced down at my chat window and was momentarily stunned. What was the note I had given her? Sister number 2. He pointed at my phone. Your note. I put away my phone and glanced at her. Why are you looking at my phone? Shirashimo didn't say anything, just stared at me. I spoke slowly. You said you're my sister, so I have a sister at home. If you're not sister number 2, then what is? All right. I'll wait for the day you take the initiative to change the remarks. Shirashimo wasn't bothering me about it. I'm leaving now. Remember, if you need anything, you can come to me. Of course, if you don't, you can also come to me. Before leaving, Shirashimo finally managed to touch my head and even reached out to rub it. I shouted and sent her out. Then he returned to sit on the sofa. I held my phone, feeling a bit worried. Now that Shirashimo has left, I suddenly feel a bit numb. He reached out to touch it, then quickly pulled his hand back. I looked at the empty room, then at the newly added one. I couldn't understand why the person I had planned to avoid completely had returned to my view. Could it be that I was truly captivated by Shirashimo's beauty? I sat on the sofa, stunned for a long time, unable to make sense of what to think. I stood up and walked toward the bedroom. Tomorrow I have to go to Kyushu, so getting a good rest today is more important. The legal department issued the contract according to my requirements. There are no issues with this contract. Now it's up to President Shiraishi. To be honest, Natsume Akahoshi, the funds invested last year are still unused. Research has hit a bottleneck and hasn't made much progress recently. Natsume-ban thought for a moment, then explained everything to Shirashimo. Shirashimo didn't say anything after hearing this, just twirled a pen twice. The medical department of Toto University, including the medical laboratory, was funded by the Shiraishi family. Currently, in-service medical professors can contact them directly for help. After Shirashimo finished speaking, she added, I'll have Kojo Sayaka give you a contact information. Does President Natsume have any other concerns? Natsume Asahi shook her head and glanced at Natsume-ban. The mother and daughter locked eyes in midair, neither of them calmly composed. If not, President Natsume, take a look. If possible, take it back to sign and stamp. I'll have Kojo Sayaka accompany you. When the time comes, Kojo Sayaka will bring the contract back. In the afternoon, I'll transfer the funds. Shirashimo spoke calmly and unhurriedly. Her tone was as steady as ever, but somehow it gave off a strong sense of urgency. Natsume Asahi's first reaction was whether there was a trick in this contract. Shirashimo wasn't exactly a charitable person. Although this contract seemed to bring them all benefit and no harm, what legal firm could compare to Shiraishi Corporation's legal department? But Natsume Asahi thought of the late researcher Natsume Zeng, who would never give up on this item for years. Then she thought of me, and she opened it. Even if this was a dangerous trap, no problem, I'll sign the contract. Natsume Asahi picked up a pen and quickly signed her name. Shiraishi Mo saw Natsume Ban sign the paper. She then looked at Kojo Sayaka. You go to Natsume Business with Natsume Song. Once President Natsume stamps the cross-seam stamp, send the contract to me at Eugene Garden. Kojo Sayaka nodded. Eugene Garden is Shiraishi Mo's private residence. Kojo Sayaka knew this contract was signed in Shiraishi Mo's personal name, and the seal on it was Shiraishi Mo's personal seal. Come to think of it, a 100 million investment, invested without blinking. Even Shiraishi Beijing probably didn't know. Although Shiraishi Huijin no longer manages the Shiraishi Group, with such a large investment, Shiraishi Mo would occasionally just make decisions on her own. This time, the contract was signed directly beyond the company's contract review department. Shiraishi Mo is extremely strict in her work matters. This was the first time such a special situation had occurred. Shiraishi Mo turned to greet the group again. Sorry, I don't have much time today. I have another meeting in half an hour. I'll arrange to have dinner with Natsume-lan another day when I'm free. She was telling the truth. Originally, she had already canceled all her work for today because she was going to come to me. But then there was a problem with a project at the Kyushu branch. The situation was still urgent. She needed to hold an online meeting first. Natsume-ban quickly waved his hand. Shiraishi-san, you're too polite. We'll go back and get the stamp properly before handing the contract to Assistant Kojo. Shiraishi Mo nodded and walked out of the meeting room ahead of her. Behind her, Kojo Sayaka saw them out of the conference room and then followed them to the Natsume Corporation. After stamping it, she handed the contract over to Shiraishi Mo. Shiraishi Mo walked to the office, took off her suit jacket, rolled up her sleeves, and started a video conference. She picked up the coffee beside her and took a sip. What is the situation? The Kyushu branch has always been a mid-range subsidiary under the Shiraishi family. Its performance rose by 8 percentage points recently, but this month it has remained lukewarm. Shiraishi's electronic products have always been far ahead of other brands in China. President Shiraishi. Last month, a batch of phones we just developed was launched. Recently, we've received a lot of feedback from users about private information leaks. Across from the computer, the branch manager sat upright. She was a bit nervous, but unfortunately, there was a problem at work. Check if the product has been recalled so the technical department can check the issue. Shiraishi Mo opened a search engine and typed Shiraishi Group phone into the search bar. Sure enough, many posts from users online popped up. No. On the other end of the computer, the person in charge wiped his sweat and spoke without any momentum. Shiraishi Mo raised her eyebrows and leaned back against her office chair. If there's a problem but no solution, just wait for me to reprimand you. The salary and compensation system for Shiraishi Group employees may not be the best in the country, but it's definitely third nationwide. Immediately post information on the official website, recall this phone across the entire line, promise consumers triple compensation, and after the product issues are resolved, all users who recall phones will receive a new phone free of charge. Shiraishi Moe made several decisions on the spot. The reputation she built for the Shiraishi family could not be destroyed. She hung up the video call and called Kojo Sayaka again. Booked the nearest flight to Kyushu. Shiraishi Mo hung up the phone, took off her glasses, and pinched her brow. I originally thought he wasn't very busy lately and could keep in touch with me more, but now he has to travel for work, which might delay him for a week. She picked up her phone, pinned it to the top, and sent a message. I've been on business trips these past few days. Send me messages when you have time. If there's an urgent matter, you can call directly. Not long after sending the message, I got a reply. Okay, Shiraishi Mo replied, very methodically, letting out a chuckle. When I received Shiraishi Mo's message, I was in the middle of packing my suitcase in my room. I checked the weather in Kyushu. Toto is a bit warmer. I basically brought shorts and casual wear, packed my skincare products for storage and makeup, and put them all in my suitcase. After tidying up, voices came from downstairs. I went into the bathroom to wash my face, then dried it again, then opened the door and walked out. Just as they reached the stairwell, they ran into Natsume-ban and the other two returning. You came back so quickly. They only took a few hours to go out and return. Natsume-ban was in a good mood at this moment. Today, he went to Shiraishi Group to sign a capital increase contract. Now your sister's project won't have to worry about funding. Research and development are truly intense. Natsume Industries' annual net profit margin is less than 13%. Most items are also included in the national medical insurance, and the sales price is really low. The funds invested in product research and development are really low. My heart skipped a beat. Shiraishimo said she was joking to increase her uncle's investment. Unexpectedly, it was true. I gripped the stair railing tighter. That's really a good thing. Sister, you don't have to worry about the cash flow affecting the R&D process anymore. Natsume Asahi smiled too. Our little star is truly our little lucky star. As soon as you come back, Natsume's performance rises accordingly. Natsume Asahi teased a couple of times, not noticing my lip corner twitch. Bai Mengyao probably wouldn't say such things in front of my uncle, right? Out of the corner of my eye, I glanced at Natsume-ban. At that moment, Natsume-ban was happily humming a tune as he walked toward the kitchen. Today, she's in a good mood and is ready to cook and show off her cooking skills. Isn't this wonderful? Shiraishimo's contract was completely advantageous for them. Seeing her uncle like this, I figured Shiraishimo wasn't saying anything rash, otherwise she wouldn't be so happy. I breathed a sigh of relief. Uncle, I'm going to Kyushu tomorrow and won't be back for a few days. Natsume-ban was momentarily stunned, then retorted, yes, that was true. Uncle will transfer some more for you. If it's still enough, you can settle it. If not, you can call your sister or uncle or aunt. I nodded. Natsume-ban kicked me out of the kitchen. The kitchen was thick with cooking fumes. Star, go chat with your sister. Uncle is cooking today, and no one is allowed to help. I touched my nose and let out a sigh. I walked to the living room and sat on the sofa. Natsume Asahi poured me a cup of tea, and I smiled as I took it. What time is the flight tomorrow? I took a sip of hot tea, put the cup on the table, and then shook my head. The flight is tomorrow afternoon. Arrive there around evening. Usei-san will come pick me up. Osei-san said her driver would take her over and pick me up to go to the airport together. Natsume Asahi smiled. It seems the rumors outside aren't reliable either. People say Shiraishimo's methods are unfathomable, but today she gave me 100 million for free. Her brother seems like a good person too. Hearing this, I felt a bit guilty and didn't dare to mention that I knew Shiraishimo, afraid my sister would explode. Natsume Asahi and her siblings chatted for a while longer. There was a knock at the door. Natsume Asahi was close. She got up to open the door. Jin Yume walked in carrying a bunch of things, carrying bags of all sizes. Natsume Asahi raised her eyebrows. After the group left the Shiraishi family group, she said she was going shopping. Now, seeing that she couldn't even carry both her hands and was smiling at all, not feeling burdened, Natsume Asahi felt a bit helpless. I saw this scene. Auntie. I reached out to help, but Jin Yume shook her head. Let your sister mention these are gifts I bought for you while shopping. Jin Yume stuffed the bag into Natsume Asahi's arms, grabbed my hand, and headed toward the sofa. I poured her a cup of water and handed it to her. Have a drink first. It's so hot, and you still bring so much stuff. Jin Yume had fair skin and had taken good care of herself over the past few years. She didn't look like someone nearing 50 at all. She reached out and took what I handed her, then put it on the table and held my hand. She spoke up a bit excitedly. I bought you many gifts. You don't know, everything I see feels like it suits you, so I bought them all. Before I knew it, I bought so many. Jin Yume was a bit excited at this moment. She only had Natsume Asahi as one child, no son. She had always wanted a son to accompany her shopping, but unfortunately, only a girl was left. I bought lots of nice clothes for our young master. I'll have your sister carry them up. Later, our young master will try them on and see if Auntie has good taste. I was stunned for a long moment before I finally responded. Sweat on his forehead, a bit red in his palm, probably from holding a bag and getting it red. I couldn't help but lower my head to calm my heart. Auntie must have good taste. What you bought will definitely look best on me. When I looked up again, I had already calmed down and was now smiling brightly at Jin Yume. All right. Jin Yume said as she grabbed my hand and led me upstairs. Let's go try it now. Your uncle has already prepared dinner. But Jin Yume was in high spirits right now, and I couldn't bear to dampen her spirits. The two of them walked up to the second floor, at the entrance of my room. Natsume Asahi stood there for quite a while. She didn't dare to go in rashly, since it was a boy's room, and she wasn't suited to it. "Thank you for your hard work, sister." I went forward and opened the door. After Natsume Asahi took the bag inside, she turned and exited the door to the room. I opened the bag and looked up, then looked up at Jin-Yume in surprise. That's way too much. Jin-Yume took a bag out of a packaging bag. "This is the latest model from Mars Birkin." She handed it to me and smiled. "Our young master of the Natsume family wants to use the best uncles, aunts, and your sister." I looked at the bag in my hand and smiled as I took it. I actually don't care much, but since Jin-Yume gave it to me, I accepted this token of appreciation. Jin-Yume then showed me the contents of the other bags. I took them out one by one, various bags and lipsticks. Inside was a blue and white qipao. I looked into those bags, my eyes calm and unruffled. Jin-Yume noticed my expression and chuckled softly. "This was made by a tailor from a tailor shop in an old alley of Tato. From the day you said you were going back to China, I ordered a set for you. Try it on, star. If the size doesn't fit, I can make the alteration." I nodded, picked up my long gown to look at it, then turned and walked toward the bathroom. I felt a bit embarrassed to change here. 2 minutes later, I came out of the bathroom. Jin-Yume looked up, her eyes full of amazement. "I'm 168 centimeters tall, but weigh only 92 jin, with a typical fair-skinned, beautiful face and long build. My skin is fair, my limbs are slender and slim but not dry, my teeth are red and white." Jin-Yume had seen many people wear long robes, but no one had ever done them as beautifully as I did. She circled around me. "I didn't expect our young master to have such great body proportions. If we wore this out, it would surely dazzle a whole group of girls." I was a little embarrassed. Jin-Yume held my hand and patted me. "Everything Auntie said was true. Our young master is really handsome. I didn't expect the size to fit quite well." I glanced down and it seemed to fit quite well. "Just look at me and smile." I chatted casually with her again. "Auntie, I'm going in and changing out. Don't wrinkle the long gown Auntie bought for me. I'll wear it on a suitable occasion." Jin-Yume nodded. "Auntie, I won't bother you any further. I'll help you put these things away together. You should rest early. If there's anything else you like, let Auntie know." She couldn't help but pinch my cheek and sighed. "My skin is flawless, flawless." I smiled. I tidy up myself, taking it slow, one by one. This is all thanks to Auntie's heartfelt gift. I declined Jin-Yume's offer to help me clean up. "It's a bit late." Jin-Yume smiled and turned to leave. He came out dressed comfortably. I looked at the bag and lipstick scattered all over the floor, sighed and squatted down to slowly sort things out. After I finished tidying up, it was almost 10 o'clock. I went into the bathroom to take a shower and only came out after finishing my skincare. The phone screen on the headstand kept flashing again. I walked while drying my hair, picked up my phone, and unlocked it. It's 99 plus unread messages. "Use-san, star, are you asleep? I'll pick you up at the time we agreed on tomorrow. A head of cabbage. Ready? Okay. After replying, I scrolled through it again. Shiraishi Mo sent me several messages. I checked the time. It was half an hour ago. Shiraishi Mo AZ, Shiraishi Mo. I have a business trip tomorrow and might not reply to your messages in time in the next couple of days. Will you be mad? Shiraishi Mo, not replying to messages means you're ignoring me. Is Shiraishi Mo really that free? I tapped my phone and replied to her one by one. Not yet. I happen to be on a business trip tomorrow to check out clothing fabrics. I might be a bit busy these next couple of days. No anger. I replied one by one and finally added one more sentence. Tomorrow's flight? I'll go first. Wana-san, get some rest early too. After sending it, I turned off my phone, put it on the headboard, lifted the blanket, lay down, closed my eyes, and soon drifted off to sleep. Shiraishi Mo had a bit to drink tonight. After the meeting, she received a call from Yasui Shizuka, saying she wanted to have a couple of drinks with her. She thought there wasn't much to plan for tonight, and I couldn't push too hard either, so the conversation would backfire. Shiraishi Mo drove out of the company parking lot and answered Yasui Shizuka's call. Old Place Nishi no Yashiki agreed to the Tiang private room. Yasui Shizuka had already passed through. She was holding a cigarette in her hand, a cup beside her, and her tone sounded a bit gloomy. Shirashimo set her phone aside and plugged in a Bluetooth headset. "Your voice sounds weak." She held the steering wheel with one hand, turned on the turn signal, and just happened to make a left turn. "You don't know, sisters. It's bitter inside," Shirashimo said calmly. "I'll hang up first." Shirashimo hung up the phone and drove toward Nishinoyashiki. 20 minutes later, the car stopped at the entrance of the West Mansion. The parking attendant standing nearby stepped forward to take the keys. Shirashimo nodded and walked inside. When she reached the door of the Tianke private room, she didn't even knock, the door opened. Shirashimo frowned as soon as she walked into the private room. The lights are still closed. She reached out and turned on the light in the private room. The scene before her made even Shirashimo twitch in her ears. Bottles scattered all over the floor, a pile of cigarette butts on the table, and someone sitting on the floor who doesn't sit on the sofa. As Shirashimo walked inside, she kicked the bottles scattered all over the floor with disgust. Yasui Shizuka looked up at her. "Here it comes, have a drink with me." Looks like she's probably quite drunk. Can she still talk properly? Uncle G forced you to inherit the family business, or did he force you to go on blind dates? Shirashimo took a clean cup from the table, poured half a cup. Yasui Shizuka staggered up from the floor and plopped down on the sofa. Watching this gave Shirashimo a headache. Looking at the scene, what kind of woman is Shizuka leaning on the sofa, her head staring at the ceiling? Shirashimo paused in her cup, a bit incredulous, and asked, "What did you just say?" Yasui Shizuka took a deep breath, sat up straight, and said word by word, "Messi looks at what kind of woman Shiraishi Kibu is." Shirashimo put down her cup and let out a wow. "I treat you like a sister, and you want to be my sister-in-law." Yasui Shizuka now seemed to have regained considerable awareness. "I'm terrible, not qualified to be your sister-in-law? Aren't you sisters anymore?" Saying things like that. Shirashimo pondered for a moment before speaking calmly. "I'm still single, so I'm probably not considering dating for now." Yasui Shizuka laughed in exasperation. "If you want to be single, you have to bring someone else along with you." Shirashimo crossed her arms and spoke coldly. "If you can catch up, then go ahead, I don't care about this. If I win her over and dump my brother, there's nothing left for me to be sisters in the future." Yasui Shizuka smiled. "I thought you'd put in a good word for me, or at least come up with some advice." Shirashimo lowered her head, her eyelids drooping. "I still don't know what it takes to win his heart over." She felt a bit frustrated. If only Yasui Shizuka had caught up with her brother first. Shirashimo picked up her cup again and took a sip. "If I don't fan the flames, you should be grateful that I still speak well of you." Yasui Shizuka picked up the cigarette case from the table and handed it to her. Shirashimo clapped her hands. Yasui Shizuka was stunned, wide-eyed, realizing it was quite serious. She needed to quit smoking. "So what should we do? The Shiraishi Corporation is so big with a bunch of issues. If something happens to Shirashimo, the whole mess will fall on Shiraishi Kibu." Shirashimo hadn't expected that. With just one sentence, Yasui Shizuka could imagine so much. She tugged at her tie irritably. "Some people are displeased." She didn't forget she held tobacco leaves in the Natsume family's hand, and I focused on the god protecting her eyebrows. Yasui Shizuka nodded gently, then fell silent again. Shirashimo turned to look, and now she was already asleep. She frowned and took out her phone to call Kojo Sayaka. Kojo Sayaka rarely got off an early shift today and planned to spend time with her family, but Shirashimo called her to the West residence. "Come to the Western Mansion Heavenly Palace to send Yasui Shizuka back. She had drunk too much." Shirashimo spoke concisely and to the point. Kojo Sayaka responded, "What about you, President Shirishi? I'll just find a designated driver. You come over first." Although Yasui Shizuka was a woman, she still had some poise. Nowadays, all kinds of things happen in society, and their status is special. She decided to stay here and wait for them to arrive before leaving. She wasn't afraid of anyone daring to come in and do anything to Yasui Shizuka. She was simply afraid that Yasui Shizuka might drink too much and go crazy. 20 minutes later, Kojo Sayaka arrived. As soon as she walked in, Shirashimo stood up and was about to leave. Kojo Sayaka called out to her at just the right moment. "I took a taxi here. Since President Shiraishi has drunk too much too, I'll drive you home and then take Shizuka back." Shiraishi Mo thought for a few seconds, then nodded in agreement. It also saves her the trouble of hiring a designated driver. Shiraishi Mo walked over to the sofa and nudged Yasui Shizuka's foot. "Get up, I'll send you back." Kojo Sayaka thought to herself that Shizuka wouldn't dare let Shiraishi Mo personally escort her back. In the months to come, Shiraishi Mo no longer needed her to pick her up and drop her off because she was taking her boyfriend to and from work. Yasui Shizuka said, "Oh," and stood up, her body swaying slightly before she barely managed to steady herself. Shiraishi Mo walked ahead, Yasui Shizuka followed behind, and Kojo Sayaka walked behind Yasui Shizuka. She would occasionally reach out, afraid that young Master Yasui might lose his balance and fall. Shiraishi Mo wasn't very patient today, maybe because she drank a little, and Yasui Shizuka annoyed her again. "We are both wanderers cast adrift at the ends of the earth. Take me back to Yujin Garden first, then drive away and deliver Shizuka safely home." Shiraishi Mo got into the passenger seat and pushed Yasui Shizuka into the back seat. Kojo Sayaka nodded, got in the car, started the car, and it was pretty convenient to get on here. "Come pick me up tomorrow, no need to go to the office. You and I will go on a business trip." Kojo Sayaka nodded. When she was preparing the plane tickets, she had bought tickets for 2 people. Shiraishi Mo got out of the car and headed inside. She had been in a good mood today, but after meeting Yasui Shizuka outside, she felt a bit down. She took off the suit jacket. At this time, no one was home, so the cleaning auntie only appeared at fixed times during the day. She walked over to the sofa and sat down, looking up with her neck resting on the sofa. She didn't turn on the lights either. At this moment, the living room only had the floor-to-ceiling windows, where moonlight streamed through the curtains and shone on the floor. She tore off her tie and casually tossed it aside. She picked up the pot on the table, poured a cold cup, and drank it all in one gulp. But it seemed like restlessness in my heart just wouldn't go away. She closed her eyes and took a few minutes to recover, but still couldn't do it. Shiraishi Mo picked up her phone from the table, pretty heartless. Without blinking, she invested 100 million in Natsume Ban, and her beloved didn't even take the initiative to send her a message. If she hadn't taken the initiative to contact me, I wouldn't have thought to send her a message. Shiraishi Mo felt a bit defeated. Although investing in Natsume Ban was her own choice, I'm so smart. How could I not have guessed she was trying to save the country by taking a roundabout approach? Or even if I know, it's just because I don't feel anything for her right now. Her brows furrowed tightly, and the more she thought about it, the more she felt like her chest was suffocating. She really couldn't bear this torment and sent me several messages. "Yet all is lost in the sea. Yet all is lost in the sea." Shiraishi Mo was torn over whether to call me. She was really caught in a dilemma. She got up and walked upstairs, grabbed some clothes, and went into the bathroom to take a shower. I just came back now. By the time she finished showering and came out, another 10 minutes had passed. She casually wiped her hair and only put down the towel when it was almost dry before walking to the side. She habitually picked up her phone. Her tone was just the usual way of talking between friends. Shiraishi Mo finished watching. "Good night." She lowered her head and smiled, tapped her phone, and replied to the previous message. She roughly guessed I had already fallen asleep and didn't say much, just put the phone on the headboard. Shiraishi Mo lifted the covers and got into the bed. My biological clock is very punctual. Abroad, because of heavy schoolwork and renting a place elsewhere, I always get up very early in the morning. I woke up before 7 this morning. I was still under the covers, just stretched out my arm and touched my phone at the headboard. After reaching for my phone, I pulled my hand back under the covers. I felt like my face was hiding under the covers in the latter half of the night. Only after getting the phone did he finally peek out from under the covers. I groggily opened my eyes and clicked on it. The first message was from Shiraishi Moe. It was sent about 10 minutes after I replied, and it's still a voice message. Lowered the player volume. I was just taking a shower and didn't reply in time. Also, after hearing this, I felt my face flush. If there's no need to shower, just tell me. I hesitated for a while, but didn't reply to the message. I stayed under the covers for almost 10 minutes again. After getting dressed and stepping out of the room, when I went downstairs, the housekeeper happened to bring out breakfast. Akahoshi, please sit down and eat. At this moment, no one else is at home. She has worked at Natsume-ban's house for over 10 years and is now in her 50s. When I first came back, she kept calling me young master and young master over and over. I thought it was pretty awkward. At my strong insistence, I called Shikin Aunt Shi, and she changed her way and called me Akahoshi.